change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo. If we stop believing we're meant to be, expanding our abilities. If the passion's gone, we are doing it wrong. Baby, you and I should start living now. With the whole world at our feet, we could stay or we could leave. There is nothing in between. So baby, we should start living now. 'Cause we only have this life. Wanna laugh and wanna cry. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. We are close, can you feel it? Something is behind the clouds. We just have to believe it, that we can make the sun come out. Let us lose ourselves in a fairy tale. Who can say what's wrong or right? We're the only ones who can decide. Baby, you and I should start living now. With the whole world at our feet, we could stay or we could leave. There is nothing in between. So baby, we should start living now. 'Cause we only have this life. Wanna laugh and wanna cry. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now.
For the first time in ages, I wake up and don't hate it. I guess I found some peace. Through the day to the evening, without shouting and screaming, something new to me. Alone without being lonely, getting back to the old me. It's kinda nice to feel free. I thought this was over, thought I could control it. But if I speak the truth, I ain't over you. I was feeling sober until you came up now. I don't know what to do. I ain't over you. I ain't over. I ain't over. No matter what I do, I ain't over you. Give it time, things will settle. Just a face till it's better, yeah. Heard it all before. Even though we were toxic, feels the most when you've lost it. That's just how it goes. By myself feeling lonely, can't get back to the old me. I'm stuck in way too deep. I thought this was over, thought I could control
over you.
Ain't over you.
I ain't over you.
No matter what I do, I ain't over you.
Welcome, people. Welcome. It is another Friday. Friday. Why is it starting another song? It was supposed to stop. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Beyond the Doll. Let us switch over. Yo, what's up? Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Friday. A happy Friday. A Friday. It was a very happy Friday, actually, for me today because I didn't have any work. So that's always a good Friday because it is Good Friday. But welcome, everybody. As always, I am your host, Shizu-san, and today is episode 51 of the Doll Symposium. My beautiful assistant with me today is the very lovely Asuna. I know she's been in a lot of videos lately. It's because I just like her a lot. In all honesty, I was going to bring Cheryl out today, but then I misplaced her stand, so I need to find it first before I bring her out for another video. I am going to do another music in the background kind of thingy. Let me see. Hold on. I will just pick a random song on my playlist, and then we are going to turn this down because I just want it in the background so it doesn't seem so quiet. It makes a difference, I feel. Maybe it doesn't. Matthew Nelson, welcome to the stream, Matthew. We got off work too. Nice. It's always nice to have a holiday off, especially when you're not expecting it. I was at work yesterday and I was like, oh, one more day of work. And then everybody was like, you know, we're off tomorrow. And I was like, yay. I totally forgot we had off. Kitten Cat Shop, welcome to the stream, Kitten Cat. What's going on? I got my new chair, people. Can you see it? New chair. New black chair. It's a good chair. But I have to say, it's a little hard. So there were mixed reviews online on whether or not this chair was comfortable or not. And like 50% of the people were like, yeah, it's comfortable. It's a great chair. Sit in it all day. And then the other 50% was like, oh, it's as hard as a rock. This chair sucks. So it's like, I can't even trust reviews anymore. But I guess the fact that it had 50-50 reviews is probably not a good thing. Like if it was more like an 80-20 review split, probably better. But you know what? Overall, I am happy with it. I like the fabric. I didn't want that plastic leather, the PU leather that they offer, because I've had leather chairs in the past and they just get me all sweaty. Like there's no breathing. So I got like this fabric that they offer and I like the fabric. It's really nice. I like how it's like a little like those gamer racing seats, so it does hug you on the sides just like a racing seat would, but also just like a racing seat, it's hard as anything. Like the first like 20 minutes sitting on it, you're like, oh, this is comfy, and then after 20 minutes it just starts sinking and it's just hard and you're just like sitting on the hard plastic that's underneath the cushion. So I'm debating on whether or not I should just buy like a small little seat cushion to kind of give it some buffer in there. But I don't know. I'm just happy that the chair just no longer sinks. Like that's I've been sitting on it for like a week now and it hasn't sunk, so I'm okay. I'm happy about that. Plus the fact that it's one of the cheaper chairs out there, so you can't really expect much. Like the chair that I really want to get is the same one that everybody has out there, which is like the Secret Labs and stuff like that are supposedly these great chairs. But then when I think about it, I'm like, that's the price of a doll. I'd rather just buy a doll in that case, like than a chair. So I got a good brand name, but the lowest end of the brand name. So this is a I don't know if you can see, but it's a Corsair chair, and I use a lot of Corsair parts for my computer. So like my mouse, my RAM bits, fans, they're like all Corsair stuff. I don't mind Corsair. They're not that bad. They're pretty decent. So I found this chair and I was just like, yo, this is it. It's one of the brand names. It's the lower end model. It's affordable. Okay. But it's not as low end as like some of the some of the weird chairs you'll find where it's like, oh, $60, you get this gamer chair. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to be a good deal for $60. So went a little higher, and I'm overall happy with it. I think I just need a small little pad, and then I'll be good. But it definitely is just my size. Like, look at this headrest. It's like literally right at my head. So it's not like oversized where it's like way above my head. So I'm kind of sitting in the middle of it. It has this little pillow thing, but the pillow thing sinks down too low. So I have to kind of like bring it up towards my head, and then I'm good. But yeah, I'm just happy I have a new chair that doesn't sink on me. So that's always a good thing. Scruffy says, so happy about the chair. I know. I'm very happy about this. I've been waiting 2 years for a new chair. King Calf Shop says, Lazy Boy for the win. Yes, they make office chairs. What? I didn't know they make office chairs. I just always assumed they just make Lazy Boys. Get a gel pad? I think I'm gonna get something like that. Some kind of like gel pad or something I can put underneath. That'll be fine. But yeah, no. Overall, I'm just happy I have a new chair. Evening. Oh, a new chair. Hi. Yes, Tempest. Look. It's a new chair. You can't see the symbol. I really wanted the gray one, but then they didn't have it in stock, and I didn't want to wait too much longer for a gray one. I was like, gray, black. It's not that much of a difference, but whatever. So I'm okay. I am just happy you got this new chair. Now, today is episode 51. We passed the 50 episode mile marker. We're at episode 51 of Beyond the Doll, and we are going to talk about some interesting things that's hitting the doll community. One is tariffs, okay, which is hitting everybody. But since this is a channel about dolls, we're going to talk about how it's hitting us in the doll community. And then we're going to talk about the boys. Like, what's going on with the boy dolls? Like, I've been wanting to talk about this for a little bit. And I have been talking about it in piecemeal over a couple of episodes, but I want to kind of like dedicate like half an episode to it so we could just talk about the boys, because you know what we want to do is really, that's right, we want to hear it for the boys, and just give them a shout out. So before we move on to the nitty gritty, I just want to let you guys know, hey, Thy Geekdom Con is coming up. I have to pitch this every time. I gotta let you guys know. And I know most of you watching this channel already know, but it's for the random people that just so happen to discover this channel maybe, and they want to know where are people hanging out. So this May is going to be May 23rd to 25 in the North Philadelphia area, or I guess they're calling it the Greater Philadelphia area, but it's north of Philly. We are going to have Thy Geekdom Con. It is a con celebrating all different kinds of geekdom stuff, like Dungeons and Dragons and dolls, and you know, Legos and video games and anime and like manga and comic books. Apparently tattooing and haircutting also. If you haven't seen my prior videos, they also do that. They have Itasha cars. They have like different voice actors coming to sign things. I don't know if they have any industry people per se other than the voice actors. Artist Alley, you know, whatever you get from Artist Alleys, like different kind of like pictures and keychains and all different kinds of like really cool knickknacks. But it's pretty much an amalgamation of a bunch of stuff, okay? And the reason why I pitched this is because for the past 3 years, and this is year number 3, we've been having our very own doll booth at the con. And the doll booth is fairly large in size, actually. We're very lucky to have a big area that we can display dolls. We're not selling anything per se, but we are giving away things. So we do have lotteries that go on every single day of the con. Is it every single day? Tempest, remind me. I think we have different days that we give out stuff. And then to enter the lottery costs you nothing. No personal information, no money, none of that. Just come on out, hang out, ask to be part of the lottery, and then maybe you'll win something cool. We have like smaller prizes, you know, and then we escalate to a bigger prize, and we only have one grand prize. And I think we're doing that on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, for the grand prize. You will get for a grand prize a full doll, like a whole doll, wig, clothes, everything, like the whole shebang. And that's just really, that's coming out of our pocket. Like, we're not sponsored by anyone. no one is giving us money to put on this booth or have it there. Like, we are sinking our own hard-earned money into having this booth, having free giveaways, giving away free dolls, showing off our collection, and giving basically our time to anybody that wants to learn about this beautiful hobby and get into it. Or if you're already in it, just come hang out, meet like-minded people and talk about doll stuff. So, I mean, that's really like the goal, is just to spread more dolly love and just, I don't know, man, just really just have an overall good time. For the past 2 years, it's been amazing, and this year is probably not going to be any exception. We're going to have some fun this year. So, that is my Thy Geekdom Con chatter. We are also going to have a meetup at Otakon this year, which is going to be, I think, the first week of August, if I'm not mistaken. I'll give you more information on that as we get closer to it. But we are going to have a doll meetup at that one, and we have a room set aside just for us to use, I think, for like 2 hours, I think it was, of just hanging out and talking dolls and just having an overall good time. It will be on the schedule as well, so everybody will know it's happening. This will be our second year doing that at Otakon, so we're really trying to like grease the wheels and expand the doll community in our own little way, because at least on the West Coast and in the South, they have their own doll conventions, and we just had our very own doll convention on the East Coast for New York Doll Con, which I unfortunately didn't get to go, but I heard it was amazing. There is also a Doll North, which is in Canada, if you want to go up to Canada, although I don't know, political reasons aside, I don't know what's going on with the whole US-Canada thing. Like, I don't know if now is a good time to travel or not. I don't know. Like, don't take any of that information from me. I'm not going to sit here and spread rumors. All I know is this, we're at a very interesting time, as I guess you could say, as Americans, or overall just everyone in the world. And just traveling in general, I just don't know personally, like, if I'm going to go anywhere outside of the US for now. But that downer part aside, how about we move to another downer of a topic, and let's talk about tariffs. So for those of you that maybe just don't care and don't listen about anything going on in the world, tariffs is a thing. It's a thing that's always been around for a very, very long time. The tariffs is just something that everybody does. Every country does it. Everyone does it. But what makes it a topic of interest this year is that they are increasing by a lot. And again, I am not going to talk politics in this episode. This episode is not about politics. It's just about how much money we need to prepare to be spending or not spending in the doll hobby. So politics aside, tariffs are increasing, and we need to be aware of what's going on. Moving on to our PowerPoint. So we have tariffs. This is just a generic definition I got from the internet, okay? I didn't make up this definition. I literally copy and pasted. But it says tariffs are taxes imposed on goods imported from one country to another. They are essentially a type of tax that is levied on imported goods when they cross a country's borders. Tariffs can be used to raise government revenue, protect domestic industries, and even act as leverage in international trade negotiations. I actually shouldn't have copied that last part because it doesn't really... That's just getting too much in the political sphere, but what you really need to know is just the fact that it is a type of tax that is levied on imported goods. Whether it's imported to the US, imported to another country, everyone has to pay tariffs at some point. Now, for us in America, we have been very lucky that we just didn't have to pay tariffs. For X, Y, and Z reasons, I didn't research it. I'm not an expert in this field, but for reasons that I cannot go into because I just didn't research it and know it, we just didn't have to pay taxes in the US or tariffs. Like, we just had some kind of clause or some kind of rule where we just didn't have to pay it. But a lot of other countries did. A lot of other countries have to pay like import taxes or delivery fees or whatever have you. So I guess the reason why it's a big topic around the world is because it's hitting America. And again, I'm not going to get into the political reasons, but it is increasing in America, and now Americans have to pay import taxes like everybody else. The downside is it's like, oh, okay, we're paying import taxes like everybody else. Sure. but they increased it so much that everybody's just like freaking out, because it's not like a little increase, like, we're going to ease you guys into it. We'll do a 5% increase or whatever. No, they jumped it up to an enormous amount, which changes every day. So if I tell you something like 54% or 24%, that is good for today, because for whatever reason, it's not set in stone. It keeps changing. Again, I'm not going to talk about the reasons why it's changing or the politics, but whatever we might talk about today percentage-wise, which is why I don't really want to talk about specific percentages, is because it might change. They said one thing before, and then they paused it, and then they said another thing, and then they were going to increase it, and then they said another thing, and it didn't decrease. So percentages aside, all we need to know in general for us doll people is that taxes are going to be hitting us in the US, and it's going to be high. But do we really, really have to worry about it is the question. Is it really going to hurt us as a doll community? And the answer is yes and no. If you want, before I move on any further, if you want a more in-depth discussion and specifics about rules and numbers and all that other kind of stuff, like if you really want to get technical into this, go and watch My Lady Disdain's episode on tariffs. They did a lot of research. They did a lot of work. It's a great video. Watch their video. And in fact, stop watching this video. Stop watching this live stream and go watch My Lady Disdain's channel, because they did a lot of work and they explained a lot of things and got into the real nitty gritty with forms, with percentages, with all these numbers and stuff. If you want something more in depth because you're just that type of person, like you just really are interested and you want to know the actual numbers, go watch My Lady Disdain's channel and her video on tariffs. Okay, I'm not gonna get that in depth into it because I'm not a numbers guy. I don't care. I probably should care. I just don't. And it's not because I'm rich or anything. It's just, it's a lot of reading. I do way too much for that at work. So I'm glad that My Lady Disdain did all the research so I don't have to. So go watch their video. They did a fantastic video. Watch their video. So leave the live stream now. Go watch their video if you really want to know about tariffs. But what we're going to talk about here is very generic on tariffs. The cliff notes, so to speak, on tariffs. So this is just bare bone definition, right? Now, there is something called the de minimis tax exemption. Now, the de minimis tax exemption basically states that if you buy something under $800, you'll be exempt from these taxes. Now, the important thing that you need to know is that there is, one, no taxes on books for some reason. The books have been excluded from all taxes. I don't know why. It's just something that's excluded. There's a whole rule in it. I think it's like IEEP or something. Whatever. So books are excluded. So I guess if you're a manga lover, this probably won't hurt you as much. But if you're buying things from another country, namely for us, it would be Japan, Korea, China, places like that, because a lot of doll companies come get their stuff from there. The hard cap is $800. If you pass $800, you will get hit. If you're under $800, you will not. Now, this could also change because they are fighting for the de minimis tax exemption to go away. There are forces at work, which again, I'm not going to talk politics, but there are forces at work that are trying to keep it, and there are forces that are trying to get rid of the de minimis tax exemption. So for our purposes for this video, it is still in effect as of today. So what's today? April the 18th of 2025. As of April 18th of 2025, which it's going to be the 19th in a couple hours, but as of today, the de minimis tax exemption is still in place. People are fighting to get rid of it and people are fighting to keep it, but right now it's still in place. My understanding, my brief and small understanding of how this works is that if you purchase something under $800, it has to be a total under $800. So example, if you buy a doll for $350 and then taxes increases to $400 and then shipping increases it to like $450, you're still good. But if you buy a doll for $750 and then taxes brings it to $800 and then shipping brings it to $850, you're going to get hit. because that brings you over 800. It's not the value of the thing, it's the whole total package is my understanding of how it works. But again, I don't know how to read, so I could be wrong. I'm really bad at reading. Also, it's on a daily. Apparently it's on a daily. So I guess if you order a doll for 400 and then you order like accessories and stuff from Japan for like 300, and then they just so happen to arrive and cross the borders on the same exact day, you'll get hit. But if they arrive like Tuesday and then the accessories arrive like Friday, you won't get hit. Apparently, if they just come in the same day, you get hit with the taxes if it goes over $800. So that's kind of like the Cliff Notes version of it. Like, if your total amount that you paid is over 800 on one day, and that's the day that it crosses into American borders and they check it in, you know, whatever, it comes off the plane and it goes through customs. On that day, if you're over $800, you get hit with the taxes. If it's under $800, so if you get $500 on Monday and then $500 on Tuesday, you will not get hit because those are 2 different days, is how I read it. Again, I could be wrong because, you know, I'm giving you my version or my Cliff Notes version of it. To be honest, I tried to read the legal documents and I fell asleep. Like, like law is just not my thing. Like, reading this stuff, not good. I am not a technical person, which is why I said, go watch my Lady Disdain's video. They did a very good job on all aspects of this. But that is my brief understanding of what's going on, is this whole de minimis thing. Now, another thing about de minimis is that I'm also hearing from friends, I should say, that are in federal government that are telling me don't rely on de minimis. And I'm not going to go into the specifics, but they spent like a whole hour talking to me about it, and they were like, don't believe the hype. And it's like, okay, whatever, man. It clearly, you must have some kind of agenda or something, because I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is right now, this is how it is. To give you some examples of how this is going to hurt us or affect us, here's some affected doll companies. So Dolphy Dreams, Smart Doll, A-Zone, Tiny Fox, Dollbot, Pull-Ups, Blides, and assorted blind box minis are all going to be thrown into this mix, as well as basically anything coming from outside the US. But since this is a doll channel, we like to talk about vinyl dolls. We like to talk about anime dolls. These are the ones that are mostly like in my purview that I'm looking at to buy personally, that I know will be affected if I go over that $800 mark. And now I know that chat is popping off because, again, this is my Cliff Notes version, so some people might have better information than me. Kitten Cat Shop says de minimis under 800 was exempt. So yeah, okay, we covered that. The supplier posted their 1K order was billed $1,551 in tariffs today. That sucks. It ends May 2nd. So de minimis is going away? Is that what you're talking about? It's going away on May 2nd? So I guess they won the battle of getting rid of de minimis, I suppose. If that's the case, then wow, that's just gonna suck for the rest of us. Like, if they're getting rid of de minimis, then we're all just screwed. We're all pretty much screwed. It's gonna hit us hard. The funny thing about this is that even though, like, let's say this is correct, okay? You know, and I'm not calling anybody a liar. It's just, I just don't know because I didn't do the research. But let's say de minimis goes away, okay? And there's no more tax exemption. Just everybody's just going to pay taxes out the wazoo, right? The really funny thing is that at the end of the day, the taxes, even with the taxes, it's still cheaper than when it was prior to COVID. How crazy is that? Okay, so prior to COVID, a doll was 50,200 yen or 50,500 yen, whatever it is, 52,500 yen or something like that from Smart Doll. And that used to be almost close to $1 conversion. So if you were paying 52,000 yen, your doll, one doll, cost you $500. Right now, because the yen is down, which is going to go up, I'm assuming, anytime soon because of this whole craziness that's going on. right now, as of today, I checked the conversion rate. Right now, 52,000 yen is really not going to be as much as you think, or it's been like that for the past couple years, because 52,000 yen equals $365.21. Whereas prior to COVID in 2019, $52,000 was $500 US dollar. Okay? It was $500 US dollar. So if you think about that, shipping is 6,500 yen. It's another $45 that you're tacking on. Oh, and you guys can't see it because chat's in the way. Okay, hold on. Let me move this over, okay? Sorry, chat. I'm going to move you over to the doll. We all know it's Chitose. She's lovely. And then your total is 58,500 yen, which is still $410 total. So one doll plus shipping, $410 is still cheaper than when it was prior to COVID. Because in COVID, 52,000 yen was roughly $485 back then. I was struggling. I was trying to find my old receipts to prior to COVID, and I just couldn't find them. But I remember them being like roughly around $485, $490. Plus shipping and taxes brought us around $550. $550 prior to COVID is how much one doll cost you with shipping to at least the eastern seaboard of the United States. So when I bought, I forgot what doll I bought in 2019. When I bought my doll in Smart Doll in 2019, I forget which, I think it was Prowess. I think it was Prowess I bought. No, I bought Prowess during COVID because I had the beard back then. So it was prior to Prowess. The hell did I buy? Who did I buy prior to Prowess? Oh my god, my mind is drawing a blank. I'm thinking of like all the dolls I own, and I'm like, which one was it? Anyways, I don't remember. But prior to COVID, okay, prior to March of 2020, in 2019, I bought a doll. It was 52,000 yen. It cost $495. With shipping and tax, it cost me $550 to $560, somewhere around then. That's how much I paid prior to COVID. After COVID, it was $365. It was this price, basically. It's essentially this price after COVID. This is how much you were paying, right? And this is how much we're going to be paying now, because it's still under $800. Kid catch up. I need to leave chat. Sorry. That's okay. No problem. So you're still under the $800, so you're not going to get taxed out the wazoo. This is how much one doll costs you. So prior to COVID, it was $560. So we're still paying lower than we were prior to COVID. So even though things are increasing and stuff, we're still paying lower. Now, what's going to get you is that if you buy more than one doll. So you got to remember, you can even add accessories to this that'll bump it up another $100 or $200, and you're still under the $800 limit. Now, if you buy two smart dolls, let's say you buy two smart dolls, that's going to cost you $730, okay? And then with like shipping, it costs $821. You're getting smacked with tariffs now. At this point, if you buy two dolls, so if you're a family of doll collectors, right? Let's say you're a dad or mom, or a dad and a mom and kids. Let's say dad wants a doll, mom wants a doll, and let's say, just for the sake of math, they have one kid, so the one kid wants a doll. That's 3 dolls. So you would have to buy, well, you don't have to, but if you bought 3 dolls, you're going to get smacked with the tariffs. Okay, you are wholeheartedly getting smacked with tariffs for buying 3 dolls, okay? I don't know what the percentages are, but you're going to get hit. You are definitely going to get hit if you buy 2 dolls. If you buy 3 dolls, you are most definitely going to get hit from buying 3 dolls. Now, what you would have to do in order to kind of not get hit is, what you could do is you would have to basically draw straws amongst the family. Who's more important to get their doll first, right? So you would have to pick one person in your family to buy their doll first, and then wait until it gets shipped. At least that's a good rule of thumb. You could either wait till it's shipped, or you could wait till the doll basically arrives at your house and then buy another doll. and then wait till the doll gets to your house and then buy another doll. So at least you're constantly under the $800 mark and you're fine. But if the de minimis motion or de minimis whatever, tax exemption, I said motion, the de minimis tax exemption goes away on May 2nd, then we're just all gonna get hit. Regardless of you buy a lot or if you buy a tiny little bit, you're gonna get hit. Now again, I don't know the nitty gritties of this. This is just what I've heard. You know, I think either if you're not gonna get hit by tariffs, you're fine. If you get hit by tariffs, it's gonna be a lot. And here's the thing is that we have to remember people are getting mad. People are getting mad, and rightfully so. Depending on what it is. And I say that because what we gotta remember as a doll community is that as much as I absolutely love this dolls, and I love this community, and I love this hobby, it is a luxury hobby. Like, your lives do not depend on these dolls. If the de minimis exemption goes away and we're all just gonna get hit with these taxes, I would just have to say, stop doll collecting. You know? Because this hobby is not worth putting yourself in debt over and losing your house or your marriage or your girlfriend or your boyfriend because you're spending too much money for a luxury hobby. This hobby is not a necessity. This is a luxury. Like, there's nothing about this hobby where it's like, oh, I have to do it. Now, the people that I feel bad for are the people whose lives actually depend on it. Like my friends Kitten Cat Shop that are in the chat right now. They are a business, and the materials that they use for their business come from overseas. And they have to buy those in bulk because they sell a lot. Just like any company, not just Kitten Cat. Any company in the United States, they get their parts and their materials and everything from outside the US. Okay? And the reason for that is because we just outsource everything. We got to a point as a country, again, politics aside, we got to a point as a country where we just don't manufacture much in our country anymore. We just don't. Like, there's still factories here and stuff, sure. But most of those factories are putting things together using materials and parts from outside of the country. And for better or for worse, that's just how it is right now in our community. That's in our world, at least here in the US. Everything that we make in the US, unfortunately, the materials that you make those things out of come from outside of the US. And for businesses that rely on those materials, this is going to hit them the hardest because they buy these things in bulk. It's not going to hit us as the consumer as hard, okay? It hits us, yes, but it hits us in the fact that when we buy stuff, it's just taxing on our hobby that is not a necessity. Now, is this tariffs going to hurt us in necessity stuff like food, water, cars, clothing? Yeah, sure. But it definitely will. But we're only talking about dolls in this channel, okay? We're only talking about the dolls and doll community. And that includes the people that make things for the doll community. Because they are a part of our community. You know, like, whether you are a collector, a YouTuber, an Instagrammer, a TikToker, or a small business that helps this community go, you are all part of the community, okay? So, you know, even though it doesn't affect us as consumers as much, as long as we try to stay underneath that $800 band, and it won't really hurt us that bad. But it will hurt our fellow doll people in the community that make things for us. It's going to hurt them really bad because they have to buy in bulk. They don't buy like one piece of material every week. They buy it in like the thousands or maybe 500 in a quantity, but probably over 1,000 pieces, right? And most of those things are going to come from outside of the US because it's just cheaper. Can you imagine, like, if we made things in the US, like literally mined the materials, like whether it's something you have to mine or cut down or grow, You know, I don't know. I don't know how materials work. You could tell I know nothing about this. You really can tell. Like, I guess if it's metals, you have to mine it, right? If it's wood, anything that's made out of like some kind of wood, you have to grow it, right? Because you have to grow trees. Or like if it's fabric, you have to grow whatever, silk or silkworms. I don't know, whatever. Either way, if we have to get our own materials in the US, we have to start doing those things, right? And it's not like we can't do those things in the US, but it's more so it would cost it would cost the company astronomical amounts of money. Why? Because for better or worse, okay? And I know people are going to have varying opinions of this, and rightfully so, because depending on how you look at it, from whatever avenue or vantage point you look at it, other countries don't pay their employees that much, okay? You know, you've all heard the term sweatshops and things like that, and child labor and things like that. Okay, we don't support those things, okay? We don't like those things, but we can't ignore the fact that there are countries out there that just don't pay their employees that much. And that is why when we get materials from other countries, they're so much cheaper, because they don't charge their they don't pay their employees that much. They treat them like crap. And, you know, and then they sell it to us for cheap, and we buy them in bulk, and then we make the things here in the US. But imagine if we had to gather our own materials in the US. Okay? Let's say, oh, we're going to start a mining company in the US to mine precious metals. Let's skip over the fact that there are basically almost no precious metals underneath our continent right now. Let's just say that, right? Like like things like GPU chips and silicon, like they all get those in other countries from Taiwan. They're like, or something like that. They're more fruitful in that kind of mineral. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, every mineral in the world is available to be mined in our own country, right? Let's just say that for an example. So you're going to start a mining company, and you have to hire miners. Not miners as in children, like miners, like heave-ho, pickaxe, okay? You have to hire miners. How much are you going to pay those miners? Are they going to get paid minimum wage? Because in different states, minimum wage is different, but overall, it's in the teens, right? It's like 13 an hour, or 16 an hour, or 18 an hour, depending on what state you're in. You're going to have to pay them that much. That's like way more than the average mine worker in some other country. Like some other country, they're probably making the equivalent of like $3 an hour or $5 an hour. I don't know. I'm just making up numbers, okay? So the numbers police can call me out, and I'll be like, fine, you got me. So I'm just saying that the reason why we get things from out of our own country is because it's just cheaper. And then even today, even like people that are working for minimum wage in McDonald's or something, or ShopRite at minimum wage, they're even fighting that that's not enough money, and they want even more. So can you imagine if we're paying minimum wage to like a miner or something like that, and then the minimum wage goes up so high that it's like, oh, they get $30 an hour now, or something like that. Well, $30 an hour, there's a lot of other jobs that make $30 an hour that are going to be like, well, why am I doing that job? I'm just going to become a miner. $30 an hour to be a cashier at ShopRite. Like, why am I working in an office? Like, I could just work at ShopRite. It's much easier. I don't have to wear a suit. It's just, as Americans, I guess we feel that we're too above working those quote unquote lower end jobs. So we ask for more money because we're better than that or something. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. Okay, people, like, call me out all you want. I'm just making up examples. I could be 100% wrong. Okay. I'm saying that right now. It's disclaimer. Like, I'm just giving you like an example that's easy to understand and digest. But the overall idea is just, it'll cost more to mine and gather our own materials on American soil, hiring Americans, than it would be buying them from outside the country. And that's what we've been doing for years. We've been buying materials from all over the world. We've been buying materials. And then when we get them, we manufacture them here in the US. At least some companies do. Like, they manufacture them in the US, and then we say made in the USA. It was made in the USA. But where did the materials come from? They came from somewhere else. So, okay, I did go on a tangent. I do apologize. The overall thing is that it won't hurt us that much as a doll community, because as the doll community, this is a luxury hobby. Your life does not depend on whether or not you get a doll this month. Okay, if you need to wait and hold your spending to $1 a year or $1 every 2 years, then do that. You don't have to stop being in the hobby, but if the de minimis tax exemption goes away and you can't afford a doll, don't buy the doll. Okay, your livelihood is not worth it. These dolls are beautiful, they're amazing, and we all want one, but not at the expense of your life. Okay, and your well-being. Your bills go first, your family goes first, your kids go first, yourself goes first. Like, all that stuff goes first. Take care of you and your loved ones first, and then if you have anything left over, then think about buying a doll. So again, this is gonna hit everybody in every facet, not just the doll community, but again, this is just a doll channel, so we're gonna talk about the doll stuff. Now, that being said, with smart dolls, it's slightly different for Dolphy Dreams. For Dolphy Dreams, if you buy one standard doll, it's 50,380 yen, which is slightly cheaper. It's like just shy of 2,000 yen cheaper than Smart Doll. Okay. Now, oh, thank you, Havlin Star. Thank you for the donation. Havlin Star says, I'm originally from Brazil. Over there, they do manufacture many things. It's said products are actually cheaper for exporters than for Brazilians. Electronics made in Brazil are not cheap, even so. Oh man, that's crazy. I did not know that, Havlin Star. So even if you make the electronics in Brazil, they're still not even cheap for you guys. But if you export them out, they're cheaper. I suppose that's the same for us, right? Like, if we manufacture things in our own country and we gather the materials in our own country, it would be more expensive for us. But it'll also be more expensive for people outside of the country when we export it, because then we put our value over it. And because currently, and we don't know how long this is going to last anymore, but currently the US dollar is very strong. So if we gathered our own materials and then we manufactured it in our own country and then exported it out, that item would be so expensive. Only because the US dollar is still strong. But judging about how things are going right now, that might change. The value of the dollar might tank. Who knows? I don't follow politics. I don't follow like the stock market, so I don't know. But I'm just assuming that with all these reciprocal taxes and all these countries getting really mad at us and then charging taxes back, like China's charging America 124% in tariffs, which is just crazy amount. I want to say I don't blame them, but at the same time, everybody's playing this game right now. And I have to say, America started it. We increased the tariffs and taxes, and likewise, any country that was affected by that is now increasing theirs. So whatever. Again, I'm not trying to get into politics. I'm just saying, I understand your point, Havlin Star. Like, I guess if you it depends on how strong your currency is in your country, then it would be it would be more expensive, I guess, to buy things in your own country than it is to get from outside, and even vice versa, exporting and so on. So, thank you for bringing that point up, Havlin Star. It's a very good point. And thank you for the donation again. I really appreciate it. I really do. It makes all the difference when you guys, from the bottom of your own hearts, decide to help out this small channel of mine. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Now, buying a Dolphy Dream. Okay, so it's 50,380 yen. Okay. And the reason why I have these parentheses here is because it was really weird when I was doing a checkout on buying a doll. The website says 50,380 yen. But once you log in with your membership, maybe it's because you need a membership, but once you log in to Volk's website and then you add the thing to cart, the price changes from 50,000 to 45,800 yen. So I don't know why the doll is cheaper after you log in versus not. But fun fact, if you do not log in, you can't buy the doll. So it's like you have to create an account. So because I have a membership, I don't know what the price is if you do not. But if you sign in and you make an account but you don't pay the membership fee, maybe you're paying the 50,380 yen. But because I pay the membership fee, my doll is 45,800 yen, okay? which is roughly a difference of $350 versus $320. Okay, so it's like roughly a $30 difference. Now, the funny thing is with shipping. So with SmartDoll, they have one shipping fee. I don't know if that's because they use DHL or not, but Volks also uses DHL, so I don't know how they're prioritizing their shipping fees. But they do an overseas shipping fee of 2,290 yen, and then an insurance charge of 100 yen, and then a postage charge of 5,990 yen, bringing you to a grand total of 54,180 yen, which is $380, which is still cheaper than buying a SmartDoll by like a few dollars, right? Because if we go back to our original SmartDoll, you're at $410 after shipping and everything. So with a regular standard Dolphy Dream, you're at $380. So it's a $30 difference, but you have all these weird fees that goes into it. Now, maybe SmartDoll just calculates it all for you into one lovely fee, but when you check out from the Volks website, it'll show you a breakdown of all these different fees. Don't know why, but that's how it's going. Let me before I continue. There's a lot going on on chat. China and Hong Kong may lose de minimis as of May. Yeah, I saw that China and Hong Kong are de minimis does not count for them. Like I think it's already gone, Matt. Danny has a link to import paperwork. Okay. Anna says, also any of us artists that have dolls cast overseas. Oh, when they make them for you? There's a minimum fee as well for $75 or percentage, whichever is higher. That's crazy. Minimum fee depends on country of origin. Makerflow just released details to makers. They are suppliers for US makers. I need to leave chat, sorry. Okay. That's when Anna left. Okay, so Hallen says, hello, Cat and Cat. I'm a bit nervous about my 2 pre-order Volks of the limited edition elf dolls. Ooh, I'll talk about that, Havlin Star, because I have the same worry. Just give me a moment to get back onto that. Scruffy says, thank you for pointing us out. The dolls may be a luxury hobby, but small businesses in that hobby is a livelihood. Yes. And that's why I say don't forget that even though this is a luxury hobby for us, there are people whose livelihoods depend on it in this hobby because they make things for us. So if you see an increase on any of the doll creators in our community, it's because the parts and materials that they buy have increased in price. Now, some things are just not available from the US. Yeah. Like I said, like the best example I could think of is like the silicon chips that they use in GPUs. Like we just can't mine that here in the United States. It's just not something we have. So we gotta export, or we gotta get that from other countries. But in my example is that even if we had every material that we need under our soil or at our disposal to gather in our own country, it would still be super expensive because of the labor costs. Like we just have high labor costs in the US. And plus, obviously, because as Americans, we want insurance and, you know, we want liability fees and all this other kind of stuff and incidentals and vacation and sick times. You know, the cost of hiring one employee is much higher than probably somewhere else in the world. And I'm not trying to say that because I think that we are just better. It's just, I just feel unfortunately that's just how it is right now. And I can't explain to you why it is that way. I just know that some places are just cheaper than others. And I know that in America, we're just expensive for whatever reason. I'm sure somebody out there knows the reason. I just don't know the real reason. Let's see. Christina Kowald, welcome to the stream. Biggest high ever, everyone. It's been even worse for the Australian dollar. It was $1 USA and it was 60 cents. Was the worst it's been in years. Really? So it's going up even for you guys in Australia too. That's crazy. Havlin Star says, also something to consider once the government gets used to the tariff and start to count on this extra money, I doubt they will let it go. In Brazil, people hate tariffs. Oh no, I agree, Havlin Star. And again, thank you for the donation. I agree, Havlin Star. Like, once you institute something, they're not going to take it away. Like, that rarely ever happens when they take it away. The most recent example I can think of that's like that was COVID. So I know this didn't apply to everybody, but during COVID, a lot of people were, I shouldn't say a lot of people, I should say this instead. There are individuals that were given the opportunity to continue working on a daily basis and keep their jobs by working from home. Now, this didn't apply to all people, okay? There are just some jobs like that are necessities, like firefighters, policemen, doctors, nurses, even some that you can't do from home, like ShopRite cashier registers, or basically big box stores, restaurants. All those people, they couldn't work from home doing those jobs. But I will say, for the people that were given the opportunity to work from home, it's clearly been shown that at least those jobs can work from home on a daily basis every day. Like, we did it for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. We were able to do it. And then when things started to die down and get a little bit more back to normalcy, they took away those work from home days and said, you guys got to come back in the office. So for me personally, I was working from home every day for almost 2 years. I was very lucky. I was very blessed that I had that opportunity because, again, there's a lot of people that were just did not have that option, and a lot of people suffered. So I feel bad for those people because, they shouldn't have to suffer like that. Like, it's not their fault that COVID happened. But because I was very lucky to be able to work from home, when things died down and started to resemble a little bit more normalcy, they took away those days. So that's an example of them giving something and then taking it away. But when they do these tariffs and they get money from it and they're making, I guess you could say, a profit from it, they are not taking that away. Hell no. It's just like anything else in the world. Nintendo was like $99 for an NES back in the day, and every year it's gone up. Every single year it's gone up. You could say cost of living, cost of materials, whatever, inflation, blah blah blah. The point is, it's always gone up. No company has ever said, you know what, I think we're charging too much money for our product, we're making too much profit, let's lower it back to $199. Can you imagine that? A PS6 going for $199, and then it comes with 2 controllers? Because right now you only get 1, but back in the day you got 2 controllers, and if you bought a certain package, you got a game too. So like, can you imagine the president of Sony being like, you know what, you guys have suffered enough. We've charged a lot for many years. PS6, $199 just for you guys. No, they're not going to get rid of that. Same thing with tariffs. Tariffs are institutionalized now. People are suffering now, but after a while, people will get used to it. As sad as that sounds, people will get used to it, or they'll work around it. Or some people will just get destroyed and have to find something else. For example, somebody in the doll hobby that makes things for dolls, if the tariffs are hitting them so hard where they just can't make a profit anymore because it's just too expensive as a small business to import things and then sell things at a higher price, and nobody wants to pay the higher price, they lose their jobs. They have nothing. And they just have to close up shop and find another job. Maybe go find a job working for the government. Maybe go find a job working in ShopRite. Maybe go find a job working for a private company. Who knows? But all we know is that company is now going to close because of the tariffs. And some companies might stay and be able to weather the storm and stay. But I feel like, Havlin's right. Like, once those tariffs become more normalized and people start to get used to it and planning around it, and businesses start planning around it and absorbing it and changing their prices to absorb that extra cost, and then people get used to paying that extra cost, I guess, it's not going to go away. Once it's in, it's in. It's not going away. It'll never go down. I don't think it will ever go down once it's there. Now, there is a possibility, and again, I don't want to get into politics too much, but a lot of countries, not just ours, but a lot of countries, they change leadership from time to time. There are some countries that just don't change leadership, and those countries are kind of screwed because whatever that leader wants to happen, it's just going to be that way. But because in a lot of countries, ours included, leaders do change from time to time, that gives us hope that maybe things will change back to the way they were, or maybe not. But at least there's that hope. There's that hope that possibly, okay, there's that hope that possibly with change of leadership, things may change. But doesn't necessarily mean they will. Like the next person that takes over presidency, at least in the United States, may just keep things the way they are. They might say, hey, it's working. I'm not going to change it. We're just going to keep it this way. So really, we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen. Even now, we just don't know what's going to happen because things are changing every single day. You just never know. Now, I'll get off my soapbox. Moving on. Now, Balding Dolphy Dreams also comes at a different cost because we have limited characters. We have Smart Doll doesn't do that anymore. Danny Chu has made it known that he will no longer be doing collaboration characters, so all his characters are just his own. So that's why we first only talked about original characters. But since Volks and A-Zone companies do IP characters, the prices change because of those IPs. So for example, Y'shtola here is a Final Fantasy IP collaboration character, and she was 90,800 yen, which was $637. But then you add the shipping fees, the shipping insurance, and the postage fees, and then you get a whopping $727.98. Now that is still under the $800 value. But if you buy the extra outfit, Y'shtola didn't come with one, but most characters do. Most characters come with it. If you bought that extra outfit, like Anya Forger had an extra outfit, like your Forger had an extra outfit. They're casual outfits. If you bought that with it, that would bring you above $800, and then you would pay taxes out the yin-yang. But again, if de minimis goes away, then you're just paying a boatload of taxes on this item here. Now, the reason why I say it doesn't hurt us that bad is because we buy them directly. For the most part, we buy it straight from Volks, we buy it straight from Smart Doll, we buy it straight from A-Zone. But what this really hurts is people that can't do that. So for example, Gundam, Bandai Toys. Okay, most Gundam model kits go to your your local shops. I was gonna say LGS, but LGS is for card gaming. That's not for model kits. But most of those things will go to your local shops. Like here in New Jersey, we have this place called Gundam Planet. Shout out to Gundam Planet. They buy from their distributors that get imported in bulk a bunch of Gundam model kits. And then they have to take those tariffs into consideration, and then we have to pay those tariffs because they will raise the price because they bought it in bulk, so they got hit with tariffs, and now they have to increase the price of the model kit, and that comes down to us consumers. So what was once a $45 Master Grade Gundam is now going to be like an $85, $90 Master Grade Gundam after tariffs because we have to buy it from distributors. We can't buy it straight from the source. Like, the only time you can buy it directly from Gundam is if you try the Bandai Namco store. And even then, because they have to ship it over in bulk, I think that we will still get hit in tariffs. But that I'm not entirely sure if you buy it from their website. Or like things like the card gaming stuff, like just cards, Pokemon cards, right? We buy them from distributors. All those Pokemon cards get sent over to a distributor, and the distributor buys them in bulk. They buy like 30 cases of cards, which cost them like $20,000. So they definitely went over $800. So they got to pay the tariffs on that. And then when they come around and sell you a booster pack that is supposed to be like $4.99 or something like that, depending on the game that you're playing, that booster pack's now $10 because that store had to pay the tariffs on it. So when buying directly from the company, like for us in the doll hobby, most of us buy it directly from the company. We won't get affected with these tariffs as much as long as de minimis is in place. As long as de minimis continues to be in place, we won't get hit by those things because most of our doll stuff is under $800 as long as we frugally spend. If you buy 3 dolls at once, you're kind of screwed. So, but if you buy 1 doll at a time or several clothing separate, instead of buying a doll and a bunch of clothing together, which will put you over $800, just buy the doll. and then buy the clothing at a separate time. Sure, you're going to pay shipping twice, but I think paying shipping twice will still be lower than getting hit with de minimis or getting hit, not with de minimis, getting hit with the tariffs. So you just got to plan better. But for other things that you want to buy that have to go through a distributor, those things are going to go up in price. Or if you're buying something from a small business that has to buy their materials from outside the country, those are going to go up in price. Like my friend's Kit and Kat shop, their prices are going to have to increase because all their materials come from outside the US and they have to buy it in bulk. So, a lot of these small businesses are going to go through a really rough patch right now. Who knows how long that will last. So if you do want to buy things, don't complain about the prices, especially to our small businesses out there. Don't complain, oh, this is too expensive. You got to realize what's going on. These people's lives are at stake. And I know I keep using my friends as an example. I'm sorry. But it really affects every single person in the doll hobby that is a creator, that actually make things. Okay? And not even in the US, it's going to affect everybody outside the US too. So, I mean, tariffs are changing everywhere because of what's going on here, unfortunately. So, people like Michaela Frost is going to get hit. People like Magical Girl Kit Kat's going to get hit. People like Puppy 52 is going to get hit. Like, everybody that is a smart doll creator that makes things, Baker 3.6, all the people in the smart doll creator page, they're all going to get hit. And they're all going to have to increase their prices in order to keep their businesses afloat. And I don't want to hear no complaining from anyone in this doll community that their prices are too high. We all know what's going on. Please support your small businesses, people. Or just don't buy anything. I mean, that's also an option. And I know that's going to hurt our small business people, but I'm just saying, don't go broke over this, okay? This is a luxury hobby. But if you do decide to pay and buy things for this hobby through small businesses, do not complain about the price, because those people are hurting and they're trying to give the fairest deal that they can. Matthew Nelson says, I had to work through COVID. I make boxes, LOL. Yeah, see, that sucks. Like, your job, unfortunately, cannot be done from work from home, which is terrible for individuals like you. Like, I was very blessed that my job allowed me to do that. But there's a lot of people out there that just that was not an option for them. And oh, my butt's hurting. See, I need to get a gel pad because now my butt's hurting. Like, I feel like I'm sitting on a rock right now. It's a love-hate relationship with this chair. Okay. So yeah, if you buy, to Havlin's point, if you bought the Final Fantasy XIV twins, the elves, there's 2 of them. Each one was roughly, I forgot the price. I think they were like $850 to $900 each. You are going to get hit with tariffs. Because if you bought one, it puts you just over the $800 mark. So you are going to pay tariffs on that. If you're like me and you bought 2, I'm going to get hit really bad with tariffs because I bought 2. And here's the crazy part. Even though we bought it and we paid for it months ago. What was it, like September of 2024? We paid for our dolls. Regardless if you paid all of it up front last September or you paid half then and the other half when it comes in, the total amount when it hits customs, because it has to have a declaration paper on there of what is in the box and what is the value of the item in the box. So even though you paid that $800 prior to the tariffs, you are going to get hit with the tariffs now, because that's when it's crossing in. In fall, when it hits the U.S. Customs borders, they're going to look at that thing and see that you paid $800 or $850 for this doll, or in my case, $1,500 because I bought 2 of them like an idiot. I'm going to get raped with tariffs. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say rape. That's a bad word. I am going to get hit with tariffs so bad, it's going to suck. Havlin Star, if you bought both of them, you are going to get hit pretty bad too. Oh, no, wait. Are you in the U.S.? Because you said Brazil. Oh, no, you says you are originally from Brazil. Sorry. You're in the U.S. now. So, yes, Havlin Star, you are going to get hit with tariffs real bad on those twins, just like me. We are both gonna get hit, and everyone else that bought those 2 dolls is gonna get hit. Because when we bought those dolls, that was in September. There was no tariffs or any hint of tariffs, so we were fine. But if I knew about this tariff situation back then, I would have thought twice before buying them. I probably still would have bought them because I'm a sucker for Final Fantasy Dolphy Dream characters. But at least I would have seen it coming. But now that I didn't see it coming, and all of a sudden now it's coming, it's gonna hurt, Havlin. When those dolls arrive in September or October, depending on when you pre-ordered, it's gonna hurt, unfortunately. So what I would suggest, Havlin, is save money now to pay those tariff amounts. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna hold your package at customs. Wherever it is. So if it's coming from DHL or UPS, they're going to hold it at your local distributor, wherever that local building is. And you're going to have to pick it up there to pay the tariffs. Or they're probably going to send you an email saying, here's a link, pay the tariffs, and then we'll just deliver it to your house like normal. So save your money now for those dolls because it's going to hurt a lot. What is it? I think currently it's 54% from Japan. I know it's 24% now because there's a pause, right? Or 10% now. And then it's going to go to 24%, but then I heard it's going to go to 54%. So either way, save money for 54% just in case. So you could pay those tariff fees on those Final Fantasy dolls when they come in, because I feel like it's going to hurt. Now, Havlin says, yes, it was long ago. I did buy with 2 different cards in a different day. I do wish they sent separately at least a week apart. It's a wish. Yeah, that would be nice. If they sent them separate shipments a couple weeks apart, that would be nice. But if you bought 2 dolls, they're going to ship both those dolls together. Havlin, they're going to ship those 2 dolls together. They will. Oh, God, this tariff thing is going to hurt. Which means that it's going to suck. Because, there's probably going to be another pre-order, right? For something coming up. Which is going to get announced probably at the Dolpa in August. I almost guarantee the August or the June Dolpa or something like that, or the May Dolpa, whichever one that's going to come next. The one that's coming up now, the Dolpa 52 in Kyoto, whatever, the Dolpa 52, I think it was, or 51, with Sakura Miku and the Arl. So it's not that one. So we got to wait to August because those aren't the pre-order ones. So it's probably August when we'll find out when the new pre-order thing is going to be, whatever character or whatever that's going to be. Which sucks because if it's another Final Fantasy 14 character, I'm like, like I have to spend the money. No, I don't. I don't have to spend the money. But this really makes us as a doll community have to really think about our purchases now. Especially for those of you that are really saving just to get 1 doll, this really changes things for you. Again, I'm blessed where I still have to save, but I have enough disposable income where I don't have to wait like a whole year of saving to buy a doll. But some people wait like a very long time of saving and pinching pennies just to get 1 doll. And now these tariffs things is really going to change things for them. When buying things, if they want to buy all in one shot. So they're more likely going to have to buy them in small pieces, like doll here, accessory here, clothing here, in small batches, so that they don't get hit with the tariffs. But again, if de minimis goes away, we're all pretty much going to get screwed. Like, just you know what you should do? We just plan for de minimis to go away. That's really all you should do. Just plan for it to go away. Because there are forces at work that are trying to keep it and forces at work that are trying to get rid of it. And we should just plan for the worst and hope for the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, plan for it to go away and then just hope it doesn't and be pleasantly surprised when it doesn't go away and then it's still around. Havlin Star said, yes, they did ship together a previous pre-order of also 2 dolls. I think it was below 200 in tariffs. Ugh. Still... any amount of tariffs still suck. Whether it's an extra $50 or an extra 200, I mean, obviously 200 is more, but regardless, just paying tariffs in general just sucks. But I guess we have to stay. We as Americans, I guess, should not really complain because other countries around the world have been paying tariffs forever. And they've been dealing it forever. So, you know, people in other countries are probably like, oh, really? Tell me how bad it is. Yeah, like it hasn't been happening to us for years. So really, we really shouldn't be crying as Americans because we've been exempt for this for so long that time has just caught up to us now. And now we're joining the rest of the world in the tariffs. So, you know, take it for what you will, I guess. Oh my God. So again, okay, that's my little spiel on tariffs. Okay, we got to move on to other topics because we're already 1 hour into this thing. So we're gonna move on to other topics. So that's the whole tariff situation, guys. It's not looking good. It's kind of bleak. I really don't want to be a Debbie Downer too much, but this whole episode today is about being a Debbie Downer. I'm sorry, but I feel like people just really need to understand that it sucks and hopefully it'll get better. We just kind of have to hope it gets better. I don't know. But again, don't let it affect your livelihood, please. This is a luxury hobby. Don't lose your job or your livelihood because of these dolls. But if you do decide to continue to buy things for this doll hobby, don't forget to support our small businesses that, you know, help this hobby keep going. Because, you know, they may not be making the dolls that we all know and love, but they sure as hell are making things that we love to have for our dolls. You know, that the big box companies just will not make. So if you want to buy clothing, accessories, anything of the like, and you're getting them from your local small businesses or your favorite content creators or what have you, please support them and don't complain about the prices because they are hurting worse than us. Because again, this is a luxury for us, but it's a livelihood for them. Please support them as much as you can, because if we don't, they're just going to disappear. I hate to be grim, but if we don't help support them, you know, and it's not like saying you have to buy from them. I'm just saying if you choose to buy, don't complain about what the price is, because you know, it's hurting them more than it is hurting us. As hard as it is to believe, it is hurting them more than us. So please, if you buy anything from our fellow small businesses within the doll community, help support them. Buy their stuff. Okay. Now, moving on, we want to talk about boys also. Half of this episode is dedicated to the boys. So let's move on to boys. Now, before I bring up the boy stuff, no, I'm still going to talk about boys, but what I'm saying is, before we go knee deep into, let's do it this way. Before we go knee deep into different examples about the boys, first of all, let's just go over a general basis of boys, okay? What do we know about boy dolls? Well, we know that they're underrepresented. All the doll companies that make dolls right now currently make more girl dolls than they do boys. And in some situations, they just don't make boys at all. They just make girl dolls, okay? It's been, for a very long time, people want boy dolls. People have been crying for boy dolls for a very long time. I don't know if crying is the right word, but people have been requesting or asking for boy dolls for a very long time. They want them. They're craving them. They're craving them so much that so many people buy girl dolls to modify them into boy dolls and making them boy dolls. Now, why don't these companies make boy dolls? If there's so much interest for them, why aren't they making the boy dolls, right? If everybody wants them, it should be a cash cow. If you make a boy doll, it should sell like hotcakes because everybody is asking for them. Everybody wants them. Every time I look on the internet, people are like, boy dolls, when are they coming? Boy dolls, we love boys, boy dolls. Especially in the vinyl scene, okay? The resin scene has plenty of manufacturers out there that make boy resin dolls, okay? But for vinyl dolls, there really isn't many. It is slim picking for vinyl dolls. So, what's going on? People want boys. They want boys. We want boy dolls. We want boys. But despite the fact that companies are making boy dolls, they don't make a lot of them. So let's go over some examples, right? and we'll see why. Oops, wrong one. So Smart Doll Boys. In the beginning, why is it not working? We had these. Let's move chat back. Where are we going to put chat, guys? Oh my god. I can't move them anywhere. It's taking up space. Okay, chat, you're just going to go on this side. Sorry. Okay, we had boy dolls. We had AG and Crimson. These were our two boy dolls, okay? These two boys were released by Smart Doll because people wanted boys. Now, eventually, Danny Chu, for lack of a better word, took away the boys. Why, do you ask? Well, I can only speculate. I'm not Danny Chu. I didn't ask him. It's not like he told me the reason why. But I can assume it's because they don't sell. They just don't sell. Like anything else in the world, the majority of people that are happy don't say anything, right? Like, there are people like myself, you know, YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever, that will talk about these dolls and how beautiful they are, and we promote them all the time, and we're like, dolls, 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 look at this doll. We talk about them. But the vast majority of people in our hobby, the vast majority of doll collectors, buy their dolls and are just happy with them. They collect them, they love them, it gives them happiness, pride, whatever you may have you, and they just collect them and keep them. Just like anything else. They don't talk about them, they don't post them on Instagram, they don't make YouTube videos about them, they don't even post in Facebook groups or X or Twitter or Instagram. They don't write anything. The majority of people in this hobby, just like any other hobby, they just look at pictures and hit the like button. They're just like, that's cool, like it, that's cool, share it. But they don't really say anything. The only people that really comment and say things are the people that are like me, who just do it because it's a hobby and we are YouTubers or Instagrammers or TikTokers, where we're very, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, social people. Oh, I need a pillow to sit on. We're very social people, so like we kind of like talk about these things all the time. We comment about these things all the time. But again, I want to say a good 75% of the community just buy their dolls, dress their dolls, collect their dolls, take pictures of the dolls, but they don't really talk about them. Now, when you have people complaining about something that's not happening, that's really the smaller majority. Because if 75% of the collectors, and I have no basis for these numbers, I'm pulling them literally out of my behind. But I think it's very true. A large majority of the people that are in this hobby do not talk about these things because they're content. They're just happy. They just love what they have, and they enjoy seeing other people's stuff, and they just hit that like button or that share button. And then there's the small percentage of people like myself who do this, not as, I guess for some of us it's a living, some of us for a hobby, we just talk about these dolls. That's our shtick. And then an even smaller percentage of that are the people that complain. And they complain a lot. They're just complainers, okay? I'm not trying to out you. I'm just literally, I'm just trying to say, like, in the percentage game of things, even if we say 50% of the people never post anything or talk about dolls, 25% of people are people that talk about dolls like me. And then the other 25% of people are the ones that complain. That's only a quarter. That's only a quarter of the community, even if we do it that way. And I believe it's less than that. I honestly believe it's like 10% of the community that actually complain. But it's always that small percentage that are the loudest. And they complain, I want boy dolls, I want boy dolls, I want boy dolls. And then the boy dolls are made, and they make them in large quantities, and then they just don't sell. And they sit. Because that 10% of the community that was complaining about boy dolls, I want to say only 5% of that community. Okay, well, let's go over the number that I used for 25%, right? Let's say a quarter of the community are screaming, crying, complaining about boy dolls. Of that 25%, let's say 15% of those bought the boy dolls, right? And the other 10% just didn't buy them. They were just joining in on the crime because they're just like, oh, you're not doing this. I just want to make a fuss and just chime in and do my 2 cents, right? Well, if they made just as many boy dolls as they did girl dolls because they were anticipating it was going to sell out, it's not, because it's only 15% of the community that bought them. The other like 85% didn't care and didn't want. Like that's the reality. I feel like even though people want boy dolls, it's still a small percentage of the community. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve boy dolls. They definitely do. If you want a boy doll, somebody better damn make a boy doll, because I think it's fair. People that like boy dolls should get their boy dolls. But you got to look at it from the company standpoint. If they don't sell that well, they're not going to make them. So like these two boys, they went away. They stayed around for maybe a year and a half. And then Danny said something to the effect of, I'm not really happy with how the originals came out. So they came up with AG and Crimson Kai. So there was AG Kai and Crimson Kai, which were like updated versions of these boys. And they stayed around for maybe another year, and then they got kiboshed. No more. No mas. Ben Benjamin, welcome to the stream. Way late, but hello. Nah, don't worry about it, man. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. So they went away. Okay, because people just weren't buying them. Or at least they weren't buying them in the amounts that the companies like Smart Doll or Dolphy Dream expected it to sell. Because so many quote-unquote people were crying for boy dolls that the actual number of people that wanted them to buy was so much smaller than what they mass-produced for. So then they had all these boy dolls sitting around. But it's always the smaller population of a community that are the loudest. For any hobby. I'm not just calling out the doll community. I'm calling out every hobby. The car hobby, the doll hobby, the Transformers hobby, every hobby, Ninja Turtle hobby, what have you. The trading card community. The loudest voices are always the smallest portion of the community. Because again, remember, the bigger majority of people in our doll community are very content with the way things are. And because they're content, they have no real need to talk about it. They're just happy. Because usually when you're happy and you like the way things are going and you're content and you're like, things are going fine, it's a beautiful sunny day, everything's great, there's no reason to complain. There's no reason to post anything that they're angry or sad. There's no really, there's a reason to post and say, oh, I love this doll. This is my beautiful doll. I like this doll or whatever. But they don't complain, they just post pictures. They're happy. They're content. It's usually the people that are not happy and not content that will constantly post after every post. Oh, but you're not doing this. Oh, but you're doing this wrong. Oh, but you're doing... It's always the complainers that are the loudest in every community. Not just the doll community, but because this is a doll channel, we are talking about specifically the doll community. Those are the people that are the loudest voices, but they really only, in actuality, they only represent a small number of the community. Whether it be 5%, 10%, 25%, it's not, it very, very rarely is the loudest voices really like 90% of the entire community. And that's when you know your hobby is basically dead. If 90% of your community is angry and constantly complaining, that hobby is pretty much gone. It's a dead hobby. That's going under. It's going to go away in whatever. But usually in most hobbies, the majority of people are just consumers that just buy things because they like things. They have nothing to complain about. They're just happy. And even if the company that you follow releases something that you just don't like it's like, oh, I don't like that new doll. That's ugly. I don't want that one. Or that's not my taste, or that's not my style. Most people that are happy with the way the doll community is going now still won't complain. They'll just be like, oh, this doll's not for me. No. But the people that don't get the dolls that they want ever because the manufacturers, for whatever reason, are not making that specific doll that they want are always the loudest in the crowd because they will always be complaining. After every post, oh, here's another blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like skinny, big-breasted doll that they're releasing. Oh gosh, can't we just get something new? Or, oh, here's another SAO doll. Or here's another this doll. Or here's another this doll. When are we going to get our boy dolls? When are we going to get our plus dolls? When are we going to get our disabled dolls? Or whatever, right? Those are the people that would usually complain because they're underrepresented. They're not getting what they want out of the hobby, right? Which makes sense. Like, they want something out of the hobby and it's not happening, so they complain. But it's usually the smaller percentage. And now that, I shouldn't say now, but when companies answer the call, when companies are like, okay, it seems like there's a lot of complaining going on. It seems like the vast majority want something to happen. Then the company's like, okay, let's make a boy doll. Like Smart Doll, they make a boy doll. Let's say, because this is not a perfect world, but let's say we live in a perfect world, right? All the people that wanted boy dolls got their boy dolls. All the people that wanted them, they all got it in a perfect world. There's still going to be so many boy dolls left over because, again, they represent a smaller majority of the population. So when the companies make a lot of boys, because they're expecting a huge amount of them to move and sell because there's so much outcry, when all those people got their boy dolls, there's still a lot left. Because for better or worse, the majority of the people in the hobby want girl dolls. And I don't think it's because of men being quote unquote perverts, okay? Even women have said that the female form is just more beautiful to look at. Like, I've heard that so many times. Like, the male form is not as pleasantly pleasing, let's say, as the female form. And I know that sounds really gross coming from a man because it just makes me sound pervy. It's just like I'm saying, yeah, girl's hot, like that body. No, I mean, like, I've heard other women even tell me that, you know, men's bodies is like, men, we're visual creatures, right? Like, we like the body. We look at the body. I know this sounds so pervy. This is so bad, but like men are very visual creatures. Like, we're just like, yeah, that, you know, that looks good. Like, you know, that's beautiful. Women like that too, but not as, I want to say not as much as men do. Am I right by saying that? Because I've heard from numerous amount of people that the male body is not as attractive. I've heard this from women. They say the female form is a little bit more beautiful to look at. Okay, I have no numbers to prove this. This is just what I heard, so I could be 100% wrong. But like, I feel like that is the case, right? I know, personally, I know so many female doll collectors that don't own, no, let's start with this. I know so many female doll collectors that own so many girl dolls, like female dolls, and have zero interest in buying a boy doll. Zero interest. It's not like, oh, nobody has made a boy doll I like. It's more so, I'm not interested. Like, I want to dress up my girl in a beautiful dress. I want to make her something that I'm not. Like, I'm a conservative girl. I want my I want my doll to be slutty. I want to dress her in like tight leather pants and like a halter top because I myself can't pull it off or something like that. I don't know. I'm making stuff up here. I'm just making up examples. But my whole point in telling this story is that I know a lot of female doll collectors that just have zero interest in buying a male doll. And I know so many male collectors that just only want to buy female dolls. This is such a losing episode. I sound like the giantest pervert right now. Like, but I'm trying to make a greater point here that the female dolls just sell more. And it's not the pervy reason that you think it is of guys just being perverts. Like, there is that group of guys that are just perverts that are buying the dolls for those reasons. But in the large majority of collectors just like the girl dolls. I don't know what else to say. They just like them. I don't know how else to explain that. Like, the girls just sell more and people just want more. Like, I don't know, like Disney princesses, right? Who's buying the Disney princess dolls? All the females. Sure, there's some of us male collectors that like the Disney princess dolls, like myself. I want a Belle doll. I want that to be my first. And then after I buy that as my first, I think I'm going to go on the hunt for a Rapunzel, right? But most of those dolls are being bought by female collectors. And it's not to say that a Disney male doll like a Prince Eric wouldn't sell. It's just that the princesses just sell so much more. Even if you go to the Disney store, they have the Prince Erics and like the Beast and all those dolls there, but they don't sell. Like all the girls go to the store and they buy Rapunzel and they buy Cinderella. And like my daughter, all she wanted to buy was the Frozen girls. They wanted Anna and Elsa. All she wanted to buy was Rapunzel. Like she went and bought the girl dolls. She didn't want Prince Eric. She didn't want like Olaf or what. Well, no, she did want Olaf. Olaf is kind of cute, but she didn't want like, what's his name? Sven? What's the dude's name in Frozen? They made that doll. She didn't want that. She wanted Anna and Elsa. And I'm not saying girls don't like male dolls. I'm just saying the majority of girls buy girl dolls anyways. And then when you tack that on from the boys, the boy collectors or the male collectors buying girl dolls, the majority of dolls sold are girls. Male dolls just don't sell because the people that want male dolls, and legitimately so, if you want a male doll, assalamu alaikum, go get one. You know, I know I say go get one, but if they don't make them, obviously you can't. But what I mean by that is if you want a male doll, I'm down for that. Make a male doll. These companies should make male dolls for these people that want male dolls. But the reason why they don't stay around is they just don't sell. And then people say, okay, why don't you just make them in smaller quantities? Since it's a smaller percentage of the community that wants male dolls, why don't you just make them in a smaller quantity? Well, the reason being is that whether it's a male doll or a female doll, research and development costs are the same. Whether you're making a male doll or a female doll, making the research and development, making the molds, doing the electroplating, getting the research for making the materials, for the clothing, for everything is the same price, roughly. It doesn't matter the gender, the cost in making is the same price. So the more you make, the more you'll get your money back. So if it costs, let's just say $1,000 in research and development. I know that's not the actual number, but let's just say it costs $1,000 in research and development to make a doll in general. Okay. And let's say you spent $1,000 to make a male doll and you make $1,000 to make a female doll. And you release them at the same time. And and you sell 1,000 female dolls for that 1,000 research and development. You charge $1 a doll. You've made back your money already. You already made back your money, and people are still buying female dolls. So your money and your cost is now all profits now because the research and development is already paid for. The cost of making the master molds is already paid for because all that research and development was covered already in the first initial batch. But if you made that same money to $1,000 in research development for a boy doll, you make 1,000 dolls at $1 a piece, and only 200 of them sell, you're still in the red. You're still in the red. You're not making up that money that you spent in research and development to make the doll. You're still 800 short. So now you're waiting for people to buy the other 800, and over 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, maybe you sold another 300, you're still 500 in the red. And that's why these companies are not making boy dolls, because they're not recuperating the costs. If it costs $1,000 in research and development to make a boy, and it costs $1,000 in research and development to make a girl, and the girls are selling like hotcakes and the boys are not selling, then they're always operating at a loss with the boys. And that's why you can't just say, why don't you just make a small amount? Because even if you do make a small amount to satisfy that small portion or customer base, you're still operating in the red because it cost you $1,000 in research and development, but you only sold $200 worth of dolls. So you're in the red. You're in bankruptcy. If your whole sole purpose was making boy dolls, you'd already be bankrupt. You lost your money and you have to close down. And that's why the boys are not staying around so long. That's why the boys don't get made that much. Because Danny Chu spent just as much money, I'm assuming, in research and development to make the boys, and the sales didn't cover the cost it costed to make them in the first place, because the customer base is just not there as much as the girl dolls. Now, you can offset this. If you're a good business person, you can offset this by saying, well, the girls sell so well that they can cover the cost of the boys' research and development. You could do it that way too. And a lot of the big companies probably do, like Volks still makes boy dolls. and still offers boy dolls because the girls sell so well that it covers the research and development costs for the boys. But if they were to just make boys only, they'd be bankrupt. They'd be in the red because not as many people buy them. They'd be operating at a loss. So, and again, I don't have any numbers or statistics to back this up, but it's pretty obvious that they don't sell as well, because if they sold like hotcakes, we would be getting more and more boy dolls out the yin yang, just as much as girls. It would be an equal ratio of 50 girls to 50 boys that each company would be selling, because the boys are selling just as well. But there's a whole reason why they're not. They're not offering as many boy dolls because they just don't sell. And it's not because the boys are not good dolls. They're fantastic dolls. It's just that the customer base is a small part of the community as compared to the customer base that wants the girls. And that's why we don't see them. That's why we don't see as many male dolls, I feel like. But that being said, let's keep on going because I have more examples to show. Because there's a whole nother point to my argument. There's a whole nother point to my argument about boys not being popular. So we talked about sales. We talked about money and research and development. Let's throw that out the window. Let's talk about another reason why boys don't sell. Because there is another one. Logically, there is another reason. Let's say 50% of the community wants girl dolls, and the other 50% of the community wants boy dolls. It's an equal split. Okay? Another reason why boy dolls are not selling could quite possibly be because it's ugly. Because look at Aging Crimson here, right? They're dashing young fellows, right? But maybe they're not to the taste of what the community wants. Maybe of the 50% of the community that wants boy dolls, maybe what they're looking for in a doll is like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type of thing, or a John Cena looking doll. Like chisel jaw, square jaw, big pecs, large biceps, traps like for days, like abs like forever. Like, let's say that's what the people want, because let's be fair, most people want something. I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people want something that is not representative of them. There's a part of the community that wants a Me Too doll, or Just Like Me doll, where a doll represents them, that looks like them. It's a mini me. But most of us, I want to say, want something that's not us. Like, for example, I don't buy male dolls because they don't offer a male doll that I want. Like, I am a small, skinny man. Well, I shouldn't say that because my wife calls me fat all the time. I am a small, waist-rounded man. Like, I'm short, okay? And I have a beer belly because I've been eating way too bad lately and drinking too much, and now I have a beer belly. I used to not have a beer belly, but now I do. Okay? It's very unappealing, and it's not a good look, okay? But if I were to buy a male doll, and I've said this many times before when Danny Chu posted that picture of the muscular male doll, I want a doll that looks the way I want it to look. Like, my dream, like, if I were to pick what I want to look like, if God came down or a higher power came down and said, hey, I can make you look and change your look to anything you want to look, what would it be? You're damn sure it's not going to be what I look like now. No, I'm going to ask that person to give me 8-pack abs. I want Optimus Prime chest. Like, I want square pecs, okay? I want large biceps, a forearm with, like, veins through it, just like those big muscular men. I want, like, Gaston neck. I want a Gaston neck, and I want a chiseled jaw, okay? I want to be able to do the smolder like The Rock and be like, Like, I want to be 6'1", 6'2". That's what I want to be. That's what I want to look like. I don't want to look like me. Okay? I'm happy with the way I look now because I'm content with what I am. But if I had my fantasy look, because everybody has that. Everybody has a fantasy look. Unless you're a supermodel, then you already look it. Whatever. Those supermodels probably wish that they had a little bit more weight because they want to eat something for once. I don't know. But for me, like, I don't need to be chiseled. I don't need to be 6'2". I would like to be, though. I would like to be tall. I want to know what life is like to be tall. I want to know what it would be like to walk around and people be in awe of me rather than people just not look at me like I'm just some random dude that they see every day. But you know for damn sure if like The Rock or John Cena or Jason Statham or Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise was walking down the street, everyone would stop and look. Why? Because they're gorgeous. They're athletic. They're Greek bodies. Like, Henry Cavill. Oh my God. I would love to look like Henry Cavill. So if I were to buy a male doll, for me personally, I'm not going to buy a male doll that looks like me because I'm not the type of person that wants a Me Too doll. I'm not saying anything bad about the people that want a Me Too doll. I'm just saying I want something that's not me. I want to I want to make something cool, Like, I want to be a Ninja Turtle. Like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Leonardo or Donatello, or like, I wanted to be like Duke from G.I. Joe, or, like, I want things that is not me. So if I were to buy a male doll, I want a muscular male doll. You know what I mean? Like, I want something that's not me. I want something that's different. And currently, as of right now, they don't make a doll like that in vinyl. They do make it in resin, though. Grenado dolls. If you don't know what a Grenado doll is, look it up. They look amazing. They look really cool. And the only reason I don't have a Grenado doll is because, one, they're expensive. But two, they don't make the one I like anymore. So that's another reason. But I'm just saying, like, maybe the other reason why the other reason the boy dolls don't sell is because they're not hitting the look that the customer base wants. And I think that's another reason. Because just as good looking as these boys are, they still kind of give that femboy kind of look. And if you're into that kind of thing, then fine. Like, if you like that BTS look, like, like the feminine kind of glamorous, but, kind of like alpha male kind of look, that BTS kind of thing, then these are the dolls for you. But if you want like a male muscular doll, like if you want something a little bit more alpha, I guess you could say, in the traditional sense of alpha, then nobody releases in vinyl. Nobody makes a doll like that. Nobody makes them currently. And I think that's another reason why the boys doll. Why can't I speak properly? I think that's another reason why the boy dolls don't sell, is because the look of a boy doll that people are craving just is not there. I feel like it's not there. Now I know chat's been going crazy, so let's see. You guys are probably yelling at me in chat, and I'm just like skipping all of it. Okay, let's see. Magical Girl Kit Kat says, we have missed watching your streams. Miss you. Hey, Magical Girl, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you missed me. Are you missing me because I only do every other week now? Or you just been busy? I mean, either way is fine, but I mean... Havlin Star says, I have several Smart Doll boys, Dolphy Dream boys, and even A-Zone boys. I remember when Smart Doll boys were among the storefront dolls. I was lucky I got them. Nowadays, it does feel like boys sell off almost immediately, but maybe because Danny puts out small numbers. I think that's what it is too. I honestly feel like Danny puts out smaller numbers of the boys than the girls because he doesn't want that overflow. When AG and Crimson were first released, he made so many of them that boy bodies were just sitting. They were literally sitting, taking up space and collecting dust because they weren't selling as much. So I feel like he makes them in smaller quantities now because he doesn't want that to happen to him again, where he just has all these overflow. So now he's just making just enough to fulfill demand, and then if there's still more, then he makes more, kind of thing, I guess. Marie Velez says, I'm late tonight, but I'm so happy I made it. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, Marie. Welcome to the stream. Magical Girl says thirsty. I know what you were saying, thirsty, too. I remember seeing that. Havlin Star says, indeed, even Mattel doll collector groups, people complain not many boy dolls are made. I remember when I was into Ever After High dolls, I would buy repeated boy dolls to be customized other characters. I think you meant repeated dolls to make boy dolls, maybe, is what you meant. Marie Velez says, SMD boys are some of my favorite. The sculpts actually look like boys. See, and that's fine, Marie. I mean, if you're content with the way the boys look, then you're the demographic that Danny Chu's really hitting. But I feel like there's another part of the demographic that aren't liking these boys because it doesn't appeal to their tastes. And I feel like the only way you can get around that is adding more boys. You would have to make more boys in more varieties so you can fulfill not every, but most different palettes out there, let's so to speak, like different tastes of individuals. But whether or not that is something that, well, actually, it doesn't work out well for Smart Doll because Smart Doll doesn't make that many variation of the boys. But it does work out very well for Dolphy Dream, and I'll explain that when we get to the Dolphy Dream section. But for Smart Doll, because he only has 2 or 1 look, really, because, you know, you have AG and Crimson sculpts, which were there for a while and are now gone, and then you have this new one. This is the new boy doll, which I have to move chat again. Sorry, chat. We're going to cover this side. Now we have the new boy doll that was just released, and right now he's selling like hotcakes. But, like Havlin Star said, are they selling like hotcakes because he only makes, like, for lack of a better judgment, let's just say he only made 10, right? But there's 100 people demanding them. Of course it's going to sell like hotcakes. But if there's like 10 people demanding boy dolls and he makes 100, then they won't sell out like hotcakes. You know what I mean? So I think what he's doing is he's making smaller numbers to try and gauge the. I think he's and again, I didn't speak to Danny, so I don't know if this is true or not. But I think he's making smaller batches or smaller numbers to gauge the demand, to see how many are selling at any given time. And I think he will steadily increase those numbers. I feel like maybe he made 10 at first and it sold super fast. And then he made 15 at first, still sold super fast. And then at some point he's going to make like 50 or 100 and then it won't sell out super fast. And then he's going to be like, oh, that's my margin then. My margin's not 100. My margin's more around the $50 range. Whereas he can make 1,000 girl dolls and 1,000 will sell. So what I believe he's doing, or what I want to believe, because again, I didn't ask him, so I have no proof for this. What I want to believe is that he's trying to gauge the market for the boys. Because I feel like he overestimated the first time. When he made AG and Crimson, I think he overestimated the demand, and he made so many boy dolls that they were just in excess. Like, he literally had, you know those Tupperware boxes that you see in the Smart Doll pictures? He literally had boxes and boxes of Smart Doll boy bodies that just were not moving. They were not selling because he overestimated the demand. So what I feel like he's doing is he's gauging the market by releasing smaller quantities to see where his margins are, like between not enough to too much. And that's what I feel like he's doing. I could be 100% wrong because this is all speculation. I'm just guessing. I didn't speak to the man. I didn't ask him the numbers or anything. But I am speculating that he's trying to gauge the market right now. Or maybe he's just releasing small quantities because he's just not devoting as much time to it. It could be just as simple as that too. I really don't know. Oh, Kitty says, hi, I made it finally. Welcome to the stream, Kitty. Kitty says, I want more boy dolls, but it's so hard to shop for them. There's so little clothes and accessories for boys from companies and Etsy creators, and it makes me so mad. Again, I feel your pain, Kitty, and I believe it's because the demand is not there. You know, if the demand was there as much as the girl dolls, then you would literally see more of them coming. But I think everybody in general is trying to gauge the market for the boys. I think everyone's trying to find where the sweet spot is on when making boy stuff. Because if you do what Smart Doll did and you went all out on the boys, then you're going to be working in the negative because you made too much and not enough people are buying. So there's, you know, they have to find, each company has to find their acceptable margins of how many of boy stuff that they can make that they can still make a profit. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, he said profit, that word's taboo. But if there was no profit, there would be no company. Nobody is going to make something for free. There has to be a profit because they have to have a livelihood. You know, like my friends right now in the chat, Magical Girl Kit Kat, they own a sign company. If they sold everything at cost, how are they going to live their lives? If they're literally buying materials at cost and then selling it back to you at cost, then they're just essentially what they're doing is just moving things around. They're just moving materials from one place to another place. And you can't live off of that. You need a profit to pay for your livelihoods, to pay for your food, to your clothing, your housing, your insurance, your building. Like there's a lot of costs that go into a business. So you need profits in order to do that. And if you make a product that's not making you any profit, then you're going to go bankrupt. You know what I mean? So you have to know, you have to gauge or measure if this venture is even worth it. And I think a lot of companies see that boy dolls don't sell a lot and they don't even try because they don't want to fall into that negative. But the big companies that can afford to do it, like A-Zone, like Volks, they can absorb some of that loss because the other products they sell so well that they can take a risk at making something that doesn't sell as well in hopes that it turns a good profit. And if it does, then they can change their scheme, their marketing scheme, to include more boys because it's selling well. But because it's not selling well, a lot of people are just not touching it. You know, like if your sole business is to make boy doll clothes and you make 100 clothes but only 20 of them sell, you're operating at a loss. You're operating a loss and you're going to have to close up your shop. You need to sell more than what you're making. So that's why a lot of companies or a lot of small creators will buy small. They'll only make like 10 of an item or they'll only make 20 of an item because at least if they spend, you know, $100, let's say, for materials, and then with those materials, you can make 10 clothes. Okay. And then you charge those clothes at double the material cost, right? So $100 is $10 per clothing item. So you charge $20 for the product. So you're making a $20 profit, right? That is, and because it's so small, you're not paying as much in tariffs, okay? Because you're not buying a lot of bulk, right? I guess, I'm assuming. And there's a steady growth of demand. But if you buy $1,000 worth of materials to make 1,000 items, right? And you only sell 100 of those, you're in the red. You're in the red. You're gonna go bankrupt. You're at a loss. You're gonna have to close your company already. It's only been open for like a year. Now you're gonna have to close your company because you didn't make any of that money back. You made none of that money back. How are you gonna live? Especially if this is your livelihood. How are you gonna pay the bills? You didn't sell enough clothes. Like that's why you gotta work with what the market wants. If the market says girls and girl clothing, that's where the money is. That's where the companies are gonna go. It's just sadly there's just no money in the boys. It doesn't sell as much. Again, it goes back to my percentages I was talking about earlier. Even if 50% of the community wants girls only, and then 50% of the community likes 25% of the community likes girls and boys, and only the other 25% likes boys, that's a small portion of the community. You're going to go where the money is. You're going to go with that other 50% because that's where the money is. And these businesses are there for the money, especially the big ones. Small businesses like Smart Doll, or at least Danny Chu claims that his business is not for the money. It's for creativity, for the love of the hobby. But you know for damn sure, businesses like Volks is a business. That is a corporation to make money. That is their goal, is to make money. That's what they want. They want money. They're not doing it for free. So, you know, you just gotta remember, like, unfortunately, the thing that you desire is just not in demand. You know, it's the same thing with me. I want manual cars. I want all cars to be manual because I love driving manual cars. But you know what? 90% of the world hates manual cars and don't want to drive it and don't want to learn. And that's why majority of companies don't make manuals anymore. Like Lamborghini and Ferrari, the pinnacle of sports cars, don't make manual cars anymore. They're all automatic. All of them. Most car companies don't make manuals anymore. Subaru, which had the WRX, is the only car that has a manual. All their cars are automatic. Honda, every car used to be in a manual option. Even the SUVs, the CRVs, because I used to work for Honda, the CRVs used to be in manual. The Passport used to have a manual back in the, well, Passport's not around anymore. It's the Pilot now, but used to have a manual option. But now, you can't get any car from Honda in a manual unless you buy the Civic Si. That's the only one in a manual now. So that's where I'm at. My love for manual cars is the same as the people in the community that want boy dolls. The demand is just not there. The company is going to go where the demand is. And unfortunately, there's not, the outcry for demand for boys is not as high as the girls. Because, and I don't need any numbers or statistics to back that up. It's simply because companies don't make them. If the boy dolls sold so well, you're for damn sure the companies that want to make money are going to make more boy dolls because they sell like hotcakes. If the boy dolls sell like hotcakes, they're going to make so many more. Or at least I think so. Again, I'm not a business major. This is just some simple man in the United States on the East Coast that has no business degree, knows nothing about finance. I am literally talking from just out of my butt. Like from experience, just what I see with my eyes, okay? So I could be 1000% wrong in this, and y'all can call me out, and I'm fine with that. But this is my hypothesis of why boys don't sell. I feel like, one, the money is not there, is my number one point. I think that's the number one point why boys dolls don't sell well, is because the money's not there. But number two reason why the boys don't sell well is because I think that the options for boys that are out there is not what the majority of people want. Or at least, I shouldn't say want, is not like the look of the boys dolls, of the boy dolls, is not the look that people were envisioning in their minds when they thought boy doll. I feel like that's another reason why they don't sell. But again, I could be 100% wrong, 1000% wrong. And I'm okay with that if I'm wrong. I am not infallible. I am okay to be wrong. I'm just saying this is my theory of why I think it's that way. Christina Kowald says, think about if you had that body, would your wife like that body and would you lose her? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, this is getting a little personal, but I'm all for it, Christina. Okay, there was a time in my life, and some of the people in chat may know this because I think I've talked about this before. There's a time in my life where I wanted to work in law enforcement, like a police officer. But I wanted to be more than a police officer. I wanted to be what they call a state trooper here in New Jersey, which is supposedly higher than a police officer, right? But you have to be at your physical peak of fitness, right? I spent years eating properly and exercising and working out to become this police officer. And I got not big because for whatever reason, I can't make my body grow. I can't bulk for some reason. My body just doesn't bulk. It can now because I'm old and I'm fat and I'm lazy. But when I was younger, I couldn't bulk up. I got cut though. I was like Bruce Lee. Like I was ripped. Like I had muscles. I had, I had abs and everything. Like I feel like I looked good when I was young in my 20s. Like I looked fairly good, at least to my standards, right? And I remember my wife complaining that I was too, for lack of a better word, I was too hard. And I don't mean that in a pervy way. What I meant, like when she would lay on my chest, because my pectoral muscles were pretty worked out, I was very happy about it. They were kind of squarish. I looked good, almost like this new smart doll boy there. Like it wasn't soft where she can lay her head and it was soft. Like it was more so worked out and it was hard. And she's like, it's so hard. And my biceps, like when I would lay like this, like on the bed, and she would lay like right here, like in this area, like on my bicep, like she would lay her head there, she would complain that it was too hard and it was uncomfortable, right? Here's the funny thing now, is that now that I'm older and I'm fat, she complains that I'm too fat and that I should work out. It's the total opposite. When I was younger, she complained it was too hard and uncomfortable. And now that I'm old and I'm fat, now she's like, it's too squishy. You should work out. You're too fat. Stop eating so much. So I guess to answer your question, things have flipped for me. So now my wife is the one in the household that is super cut. Like My wife underwent a transformation in the last 2 years. Like, I don't know what happened, where she got the idea or why she wanted to, but she started working out hardcore. So now I'm like old and fat, and now my wife is like ripped. Like, she's been working out straight for 2 years every single day and eating right. Like, she's good on her end. And I think that's why she's making fun of me more so now than ever, because now she's like so fit and I'm just so not. So she makes fun of me. Every day she makes fun of me. Like, that's the weird thing. That's the weird dynamics between men and women. I would never, ever, ever call my wife fat. Never. I would never say it. Whether it was true or not, I would never utter the words. Because all you guys out there, that's a death sentence. You never say that. But on the flip side, my wife calls me fat every day. Like, every day. Twice on Tuesdays. Like, every day. And I'm not saying this to downplay her. I'm not talking down about my wife. I love my wife. But I just find it funny that she could call me fat every day and I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't get bothered by it. I don't get mad by it. I think it's funny. But I find it incredibly funny that is it okay and it is acceptable for the ladies to call us fat, but is never, ever acceptable to utter those words, ever, for a man. You cannot say that. Like, that is a death sentence. That is like, you can never call a woman fat. That is not a thing. But men, you could call us fat all day. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. Havlin Star says, Kitty, I do agree with you. It's hard to find a shop for boy dolls. Not as much variety of outfits or accessories. It's true. Kat says, that is an absolutely human thought. It is healthy to desire other types of dolls that look completely different. I'd like to think it is partly because we appreciate those differences, because busy work has been a lot of okay, so I agree with you. I feel like, most people, they want something that they're not because they want to fantasize. That's why we watch movies, right? Because if we could just do that in real life, we would just do that in real life. Like if I wanted to be a superhero, I just go out there and dress up like Batman and save crime. I would also get arrested because I'd be a true blue vigilante, and I'd probably get arrested. But you watch movies because it's a fantasy. You wanna pretend you are Batman. Like, you want to be like, oh yeah, Batman. I would do that same thing if I was in that position. You know what I mean? Like, you fantasize that. It's a fantasy. These people, these actors and actresses, are being paid to portray a fantasy. Like, they are. It's called acting for a reason. Because if not, it would just be real life. Like, if you want to see police catch bad guys, go watch 911. You know what I mean? Like, go watch, go apply for a ride along where you get to ride along with police officers. I think there's more to it than that, but you understand my idea. Like, if you want to see real stuff, go out and do it. Like, you want to know what it's like to be a lawyer in suits? Go get your law degree. Go be a lawyer. But no, there's a reason why we watch movies, because we don't want to do it ourselves because it's either too hard or boring or not worth the time or doesn't make enough money or whatever. Whatever the reasons you want to come up with, we don't do it in real life. And that's why we watch the movies. For me, I feel like it's the same way with the dolls. Like, I am not a girl. I am physically not a female. Like, and mentally, I don't believe I'm a girl. So I don't, now this is getting into dangerous waters. But what I'm trying to say is that I am not mentally, or I don't feel spiritually that I should have been born a woman. Like, I don't feel like I need to be transgendered or LGBTQ plus or and all the other acronyms, which I always forget all of them. I apologize. But I am just, by all natures, just a regular cis male. So, but for whatever reason, even though I'm a cis male, this sounds so funny. I have an infatuation with dressing female forms. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, I love female fashion, okay? I don't know how else to say it. And when I see girls dressed up in certain ways, I'm like, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Like, I love that style, but I can never wear it myself because I'm a male. And even though in our society now, I think it's acceptable if I were to just decide to wear a dress and go out one day and just wear a dress, I think I should be allowed to, but I just don't because it just doesn't feel right on me for me, because I am in my mind am a cis male. Like I feel that way. Although, you guys want to pump in some donations, I'll show up to a con dressed up as a girl if you guys want, and live my inner female dreams. I'll wear like a nice outfit to a con one day. You guys want to throw some money my way so that I can buy the clothing and makeup, I'll do it. Why not? I'm not ashamed to. I'll do it. Sure. You guys help me. You help me fund this. You want me to start it? I'll start a dress Shizu-san as a female fund, and you guys can donate to it, and I will show up to a con as a female. I'll do it. If you guys create a fund and you pay for it, I'll do it. But I just have this affinity. I love dressing up my dolls. Like I like female fashion, and I can't do that to my wife. I can't dress up my wife like the way my wife dresses me. You know what I mean? Like my wife can buy me clothes and give it to me and say, "Hey, I think you'll look good in this," and I'll wear it and I'll be like, "Yeah, I look good in this. That's good taste." I don't have that good of a taste. There's no way in hell I could shop for my wife and then give her clothes and she'll be like, "Oh, this looks so good. I look great in this." I don't have that kind of look. My experience with female clothes is what I see in magazines or on the rack or in movies. I'm like, oh, I like that outfit, but I could never create an outfit from nothing. You know what I mean? Like I can't. But yeah, I think I think that's really why I buy a lot more girl dolls than male dolls, is because I want to live my inner fashionista, so to speak. Magical Girl says, because busy work has been a lot and a lot of personal life stuff, we haven't been able to attend your lives. That's fine. Yeah, I get that, Kat. That's not a problem. Marie Velez says, at Tempest, I propose we plan for a group trip to Japan for doll shopping. That would be amazing. Tempest says, husband isn't dead yet, but he has pointed out my beer body. I could not say that, Tempest. I would never say that to my wife. I'm not saying that she would kill me if I said it, but it just feels so wrong. Like, I would feel so horrible if I ever said anything like that, whether it be true or not. Like, I would feel so bad. Kat says, I could never tell someone that. Hubs, brother, anyone. Couldn't. Nope. Say it about myself twice on Tuesday, too. I don't know. My wife has no filter when it comes to me. She calls me fat all the time, and I'm okay with it. I told her, listen, okay, this is a little personal too, but I told her when we were in college and we were dating, we were like boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, we were dating. And I told her, I said, listen, like, my whole life I've been skinny. I'm not complaining that I'm skinny, but my whole life I've been skinny. And all I eat is junk food, like burgers, hot wings, fries, hot dogs, like potato chips. And I'm still skinny. And I told her, I said, you know what? I feel like it's a curse. I feel like I'm skinny now, and it's going to catch up to me when I get older. Like, when I get older, it's going to catch up to me in a bad way, and I'm going to be really fat when I get old. And I told my wife that. I said, listen, she probably didn't believe me at the time, but I said, listen, will you still love me if I become this fat man when I'm older? Because I have a feeling that this is all going to catch up to me, and when I get old, I'm going to be super fat. And she told me back then, yes, I love you no matter what. You know what I mean? Because we all say that. Come on, let's be honest. We all say that about our significant others, right? But now that I'm old and fat, now she's I feel like she's regretting it now. I love my wife. She loves me. I think it's more of just playful banter than anything. But even me, I would never playful banter say that. That's the funny thing. You and Ben could dress me better than I could dress myself. Proof is in the dolls. I don't know. Maybe Ben has better taste to dress you. Because it has been brought to my attention by many people that when I dress my dolls, they end up look like librarians. So unless you want to look like a librarian, Cat, you should probably go with Ben's taste of clothing. Than with my taste of clothing. Matthew Nelson says, I prefer the girls because they are basically art models. I draw mostly females. One doll is less than a model setting in some cases. That's true. Although, to be fair, when most people are learning in art class, don't they learn on those like asexual dolls? It's like those wooden dolls that don't have either feature from male or female. But I do know that like Smart Doll is doing the whole thing where they get to use dolls and stuff like that, but as art subjects. But I know that in a lot of art classes, they also use the female form to study on. Like I've seen it in movies and TV shows where like some girl gets up in front of a class naked and everybody's supposed to draw her. And I'm like, where is that art class? But like, you know, like I think the female form is just more beautiful to look at. And I know that sounds weird coming from a man, because from a cis male at least, because we are attracted to that. But I think even amongst females, I guess, or even amongst like I guess gay men, like I think they even consider like the female form just a beautiful form, right? Like to work with artistically wise. I'm not trying to say it from like a perverted standpoint. I think is that the like the larger consensus, I guess? Like I don't know, I'm just saying this like out of like what I've heard and experienced, but like I feel like people see the female form as beautiful. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Havlin Star, thank you for the donation, Havlin Star. I gave a small contribution to buy a dress for you tonight. Havlin, you know a dress is not going to be $4.99, but I appreciate the donation. And if we could get more donations, maybe we can get enough to buy one. I'll do it. I swear, hand to God, I'll do it. If you guys donate enough money for me to buy a whole outfit and makeup and everything, I'll do it. 100%. I'll do it. And it's on stream. It's on stream. If I back out on it, it's on stream. You guys can be like, remember that episode? I recorded it. Here's the episode where you said you'll do it. Like, I'll do it. Kat says, I want to have beers with you and your wife. Hey, we'll do it. I'm down. Let's go. Let's go out for a drink. Next time we come out to Texas or something, let's go have a drink. Or if you guys come up here, let's have a drink. I'm sure my wife will be good for it. We just got to find a babysitter. Well, it's funny too, because my wife and I, we can never go out at the same time. So it's like I go out with my guy friends and we go out to drink, and then she goes out with her girlfriends and they go out to drink, because we got no one to watch the kids. So somebody has to stay home with the kids while the other one goes out to have fun. I think when was the last time my wife and I just went out alone? I don't remember. We've never had a babysitter. And the only other time we went out was probably when my son was just born. So maybe like 9 years ago. My mom, no, not 9 years ago. No, I want to say like 6 years ago, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law was watching the kids so we can go out. But it definitely wasn't anytime soon. It was like years and years ago. Like you need a babysitter, man. And the amount of money it costs for a babysitter, my wife and I are like, let's just stay home and order pizza or something, because it's too much money to hire a babysitter to watch the kids, so we could just go out and have a date night. We haven't had a date night in years. It's probably been like almost 8 years, probably, I would say, since we had a date night. We have not had one, because it's just what happens when you have kids. You know, you don't have any resources to watch the kids, and both our parents are old. You know, my wife's parents and my parents, they're all old. They're too old to the point where it's like they like having the kids over so that they, you know, can spend time with the kids, but they couldn't watch them on their own. You know what I mean? It's too much for them to watch them on their own. And hiring a babysitter costs too much money. So, you know, it costs more money than us going out on a date night. So we just don't go. But yeah, I mean, if you come by, sure, we'll go. I'll make it happen somehow. We'll find a babysitter. Let's go have some drinks. Matthew Nelson says, those wooden models, they suck. We had to study both male and female. I mean, I assume so, because the wooden models don't have an accurate proportions for male and females, because they have those lines that break it apart and those circular parts. Yeah. Magical Kit Kat says, we are coming to your way this late summer, early fall. Oh, nice. East Coast trip needs to happen. Okay, if you're down this way, definitely let's go out for drinks for sure. 100%. Kitty says, it seems usually the people that prefer boy dolls or have a lot of boy dolls usually have them as characters for stories they write or style them to look like a character they like from something. That is true. Like our good friend Tempest Strife in the stream. Her favorite character is Cloud, and she made her own Cloud doll, and it looks amazing. And it's still a work in progress because she's still like tweaking it to make it even better and better every time I see it. But yeah, like a lot of people like boy dolls, and like Tempest, no company is making the boy doll that she really wants, so she made it herself. But not everybody is as savvy a creator as, you know, Tempest is. Like for me, I don't know how to make anything. So I would prefer a company to make one for me, but no company does. So I'm kind of in that route. So I do want a boy doll, but I want a muscular male boy doll. And since no company has made it yet, you know, I don't have one. But I don't want one enough where I would cry and complain about it, because it's not high on my priority list. Because I just, like, again, I like to play out my inner fashionista with these dolls and dress them the way I like them to be dressed and look the way I want them to look. You know what I mean? Like it's these dolls are like my canvas, so to speak. And while I can't dress these dolls exactly the way I envision it in my mind, and it's purely because companies don't make the outfits that I'm particularly looking for, but at least they have the doll, and at the very least, a lot of the clothes that I see, I do tend to like, so I do dress up my dolls like that. But I understand your sentiment, Kitty, and it makes total sense. Like, you know, they prefer boy dolls for stories they write or characters that they want, you know, because they either like them, or sometimes D&D characters who play D&D, and you want to your character's a boy character and you want to make that character. Obviously, you know, no large company is going to make that. You're going to have to custom make that yourself. But at least you need a boy doll to use as a canvas. You know, maybe there's a boy doll that kind of looks similar, and then you can modify it to make it look like the doll you want. Havlin Star says, yes, I have 12 boys. They are all cosplay anime-styled characters. And I'm assuming, Havlin, that no company has made the character of the boy that you like, which is why you custom-made 12 other stylized characters, I'm assuming. Now, other than the Smart Doll sphere of boy dolls, there are other companies that make boy dolls, such as A-Zone, you know, and things like that. But let's move on to Dolphy Dreams, right? The Dolphy Dream boys. So here are some examples. There's more boys than this, but here are some examples of the boy dolls. I need to move chat somewhere. Let's put you up here. Okay, chat. It's moving around. So we have, these are some recent boy dolls. So Kirito I put here because he's probably, aside from Kaito, the closest to more of the mature looking boys. They still kind of look femme a bit, but they're probably the closest to like more alpha male looking, I guess you could say. Alphino is very like female looking, even though he's supposed to be a boy character. He still looks very female looking. And these are the collaborated boys. But I want to say Dolphy Dream has something that Smart Doll doesn't when it comes to the ability to make boys, and that is their dream choice. So Smart Doll doesn't have a dream choice selection currently. They used to have something kind of similar to it, where you could build your own doll in the Smart Doll store years ago. Years ago, when Smart Doll first started, you could go to the store, make an appointment, and build your own doll and pick the pieces that you want, like the head that you want, the eyes that you want, the clothes that you want. You used to be able to pick and build it the way you want it. But nowadays, you pretty much buy the doll as is, and then you can modify it afterwards. You'll also just buy the dolls normally just now. They don't offer the heads separate anymore unless it's like in a chaos batch, and sometimes those are not painted and you have to get them face up. Sometimes they have the face up, but the face up is random. You don't know which one you're going to get because, again, it's chaos. So they don't have exactly the same ability to do so. So right now, if you want to buy a boy doll, you're pretty much buying the whole package as is. But with Dolphy Dream, they do offer you Dream Choice, where you get to build your own dolls. And for the longest time, oh my gosh, I need a seat cushion for real. For the longest time, people have been taking the girl faces and making them and modifying them to look like boys and making boy faces. But Dolphy Dream knows that there are some people that really want boy faces. And I think the response to that is the newest DCH 25 and 26 heads. Now, both of these heads could be used for females, as I've seen it done in a lot of posts on X, because a lot of the Japanese community likes to post their dolls on X a lot more than Instagram. So you see a lot of them on X where they would dress them up. But these two, I think, are their response to boy dolls. And I think it gives you two different varieties of face, where you have like the smaller eyes and the stoic kind of look with the 25. But with the 26, you get more of that like kind of like, I don't want to say evil, but more like he's kind of up to something. You got the sterner, square kind of eye look and like the more sterner like mouth kind of thing. And I think that with these two heads, you know, you can really make a lot of different characters. If you couldn't make characters before in the heads prior to 26, I think we're up to 32 heads right now. But in the heads prior to 26, a lot of them could be customized to look like boys. But I feel like 25 and 26 is definitely hitting the mark, definitely for boys. I think the intention were for these to be boy heads, even though they could be utilized for females as well. But I think the intention was there for the boys. And that's why I give the nod to Dolphy Dream more so than Smart Doll for boy characters, because not only has Dolphy Dream released more boy characters, if that's even a thing to say, because they've really only released like, I think it's like 6 collaborated characters, whereas Smart Doll had Lelouch, and they had Spinzaku, they had Spike Spiegel, supposedly Naruto. Naruto's not out yet. You know, they had Crimson and Eiji, and now this new one. So that's 7. So that's 7 boy dolls that Smart Doll has released, whereas Dolphy Dream has released probably 6, and then you have all these variation of heads that you could transform into males. But if you wanted to add these two to it, that would be 8, if you want to add these 2 boys to it. But I think either way you spin it, I think you'll have an easier time building a boy doll through Dolphy Dream than you would with Smart Doll, because it's much harder to get a boy doll in Smart Doll land than it is to get a Dolphy Dream Choice doll in Dolphy Dream. I'm not saying it's cheaper. It could be more money to get a Dolphy Dream because you have to go through a proxy to build your Dolphy Dream Choice. So it will definitely cost you more money. And if you want the anime collaborated boy dolls, it will definitely cost you more money than a Smart Doll. 100% cost you more money. But I think there's more of those dolls out there than there is currently the new Smart Doll boy, if that makes any sense. So I think with that being said, I think you would, if you really wanted to build a boy doll, your best bet would probably be through Dolphy Dream, purely because of availability, not so much look. So with Smart Doll, you only get one look. You have the new boy doll, and that's the only look currently right now. Now, of course, you can find a makeup artist like Magical Girl Kit Kat or any other kind of makeup artist that can change the face up of the boy doll to anything that you want. But you still only have that one head sculpt to choose from and modify from. Whereas with Dolphy Dream, you at least have these 2 heads, DCH 25 and 26. And if you wanted to go that extra mile, you also have the anime collaborated boys, you know, for a lot of money on the secondhand market if you were going to buy them. So I think availability wise and diverse option choices wise, Dolphy Dream might be better when it comes to the boys. But with Smart Doll wise, I think price is definitely better for Smart Dolls. Availability is just hard right now because he doesn't make a lot of them. So availability for Smart Dolls is very hard to get your hands on one right now. And until they change their distribution of the Smart Doll boys to a larger distribution, not a distribution center, but just making a larger quantity of them, I think it's still going to be hard to get the boys from Smart Doll. And that's not a knock on Smart Doll. I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. It's just that is their practice. And I've said this many a times. That's the reason why you create your own business. is so you can run it the way you want to run it. Who am I to tell Danny that he needs to do this and that or this or that? No. He could do whatever he wants. That's his company. He can run it any way he wants. That's why you go into small business. You know, that's why you make your own business, because you don't want to listen to the man. Like me, you don't want to work for a corporation where they tell you what to do. I don't get to choose. Like, they tell me what I have to do, and if I don't do it, I don't get paid. So I have to do what they tell me to do because it's not my company. But places like Danny Chu with Smart Doll, which is a small company, he's his own boss. He can make anything he wants, and he could do anything he wants, and nobody can tell him otherwise. Y'all can say whatever you want to him. You could complain all you want to him, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's his choice to make. And I think that's the best thing. Like, whether or not it was the right choice, who knows? But that's the reason why you make your own business, so that you can be your own boss, you do things your way, and you do the things that you want to do. Because if not, then you might as well work for a big company. You might as well work for Amazon or work for Volks or work for Microsoft, where they just tell you what to do and then they pay you. But when you get to make your own company, you do things the way you want to do them. And if the way that you want to do things is negatively impacting your company, then that's no one else's fault but your own, because you didn't listen to your demographic. But if you don't care about that and you just want to run things the way you want to run it, then by all means, just run it the way you want to run it. That's why I don't think I want to go into my own business, because I will run things the way I want to run things, and I feel like I won't make any money that way. Like, my idea of a business is I want to tell people off. If I'm being 100% honest, I would want to run my own company just so I could tell people off. Like, and it's not because I'm a mean, vengeful person. It's just that for years and years and years of working for a company where at my job, I get talked down to a lot by customers. Like, people yell at me, people turn me down, they call me stupid, they're like, what are you, dumb, or whatever, and I just have to stand there and smile and just be like, because I can't tell them off or else I'll get fired. I'll get fired from my job if I do that. What I really want to do to those people is just be like, go F yourself, get out of here, get out of my face, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But I can't do that. Like, it's not my company. And if I do that, I'll get fired and I will have no money. But if it was my own job, and I make the rules, if somebody came into my job and they said something I didn't like and something I didn't want, or I just didn't want them in, I'd be like, get out of my store. Get out of my store. You don't want to get out? I'm going to call the cops. Like, I'll just call the cops on you. Get out of my store. Like, oh, I would just open a store just to do that. Just to get all my years of anger and frustration from working a 9-to-5 job, just to get all that out. I just want to open my own business where people come in, I'll just be like, get out. Get out of my store. You know what's the best business? I don't know if you guys know about this, because I know a lot of you come from a different part of the United States or all over the world. But there's a restaurant. I forgot the name of it. There's a restaurant. I think it's in Washington, D.C. area or Maryland area. But there's a restaurant where the whole shtick of the restaurant is they talk down to you. Like, you go there and the menu is all vulgarity. Like, it's like, let me get some mother effing fries with the fat biatch, like, cheesesteak or what. Like, they're all obscene, offensive names on the menu. Like, every item on the menu is offensive names and offensive themes. Like, everything. And then the whole shtick is that the waiters and waitresses treat you like garbage. Like, you walk in and they ignore you. Like, that's the whole point of the restaurant. They ignore you. And then when you ask for help, they yell at you. They go, what the hell you want? Or like, or they're like, or like, if you say, oh, my food is not cooked right, and they're like, too bad, tough luck. Like, and they curse at you and everything. It's like, it's so bad. But that's the whole appeal to this restaurant. Like, you literally go there to get yelled at. Like, you pay money to get yelled at and use vulgarity in their restaurant. I forgot what the name of this restaurant was, but it's like amazing. And I want to go one day I want to go to it just to see how bad it gets. I'm sure there's probably a YouTube video out there of this restaurant or something. But I feel like if I were to open my own business, I want to open something like that. It sounds so bad and so opposite of what my YouTube channel is about. But I just feel like, I feel like I'm a repressed, like angered individual because like all throughout my day at work, I have to be on the best behavior regardless of how people treat me. I have to be on my best behavior. And then, like, obviously, when I'm at home, I'm raising young kids. Like, I can't, I have to be proper, because I don't want to teach my kids bad manners. Like, I have to be, like, the good dad. And, we watch appropriate children's shows and listen to appropriate music and all that kind of stuff because I'm trying to raise, like, like good kids. Or at least I'm trying, okay? I'm not an expert. But, like, man, there has to be some way to outlet all that anger. And that's why I feel like people play video games. I think that's what video games are for. Like, you sign on video games, you go online, and you talk a whole bunch of smack to the other person on the other end of the line. Like, if you play, like, Call of Duty, or, like, Street Fighter, or Madden, or NBA basketball, all those people just talk smack all day long. They just talk smack to you on the other end. And sometimes it's a child. Sometimes, like, I'll play those games, like 45-year-old me playing this video game. And on the other end, I hear some 10-year-old kid be like, yeah, I beat your butt so good. You suck. And I'll be like, damn. It's like, this kid's yelling at me. Like, I feel like that's why video games exist. It's for people to let out all their anger because nobody sees your face. All they can hear is your voice, and you're under a pseudonym. You're just under a handle. And I feel like that's why anger is so much in Reddit too. Like Reddit and forums and Facebook, like people send so many angry and hate messages because they take so much crap all day in life through work and stuff, and then eventually they just let it all out where they can be anonymous. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, like, I think that's why that happens a lot, is because just people just want to let off steam and they do it wherever they could find anonymity. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel the boy characters, like going back to the whole boy situation, I feel like boy characters could sell more if we had more variety of choices. But I still think that I feel like the demand just isn't there as much. And it is unfortunate. Just like the rest of my fellow manual transmission drivers just have to drive automatic from now on because all the manual cars out there are not affordable. Like, they're all sports cars and they're all like $50,000 or more, which is not in grasp, within reach for, the average, like, minimum wage worker. Like, you just can't. Like, you just have to drive an automatic because that's what the majority of people want. That's where the money is. And I feel it's the same way with boy dolls. I feel like there are people out there that want boy dolls and legitimately love boy dolls and want more of them. But you represent just a small minority portion of the community, and companies have to judge whether or not it's worth it to jump on the boy train and put research and development money into it for a product that will not sell as well. I'm not saying it won't sell at all. I'm just saying the numbers just won't be as well as the female dolls. And they have to choose. Do they even want to go down that route when they know it's not going to make them much money? Or should they just keep doing what they're doing right now, which continually makes them money? Because we have to remember, they're in business for a profit. They're trying to make money to pay their employees and live their own lives too. So, no one's going to just buy materials, make a product, and then sell it to you at cost. It's never going to happen that way. As much as we consumers want the cheapest product and pay the lowest amount of money for high quality as we want, in reality, it doesn't work that way because there are living, breathing people on the other side of that company face that need to live their lives, So, you have to remember, even though you are a consumer, there are real people on the other end of that price tag that need to live. Now that being said, there are real scumbags on the other side that want nothing but to fleece you for all your money and take all the profits so that they can buy $1 million jets and eat anything they want wherever in the world whenever they want because they can. And those people suck. But don't forget the small business people, because those small business people are the ones that are in the trenches fighting every day for their livelihoods. Their profits literally help them live. Okay? Their profits are not letting them buy private jets and eating sushi on the top of Mount Fuji just because they can. Like our small business people in our doll community really need our support. Or any small business really out there need your support, because it's tough out there. That's why not many people go into small business, because it's hard. And most of the time you're living like crap until your business takes off. I've heard, see, I never done it myself, but I've heard from other people that started their businesses, the first couple years you're broke. Like you're in debt the first couple years is what I've heard. You're literally living on a negative until your business starts picking up and you start, getting more clients and more customers. Like it's hard out there. So you could say F to all the big companies all you want. That, that's fine, I guess. But don't forget about our small business people. Like they're the ones that are really fighting hard in the trenches. They are the front liners. So, if their prices have to go up because of these tariffs, or if they're not making boy dolls or as many boy dolls or as many boy items, it's because they need to make something that will help them get a profit so that they can pay their bills and eat. And sadly, boy dolls are not making that kind of money. And I guarantee you, when boy dolls start bringing in money like the girl dolls do, you're going to start seeing more boy dolls and more boy doll accessories and more boy doll clothing. Guaranteed. If they start raking in the money by selling boy dolls, you are going to see more and more and more boy dolls. Like if 75% of the doll community are buying boy dolls and nothing but boy dolls, they're going to drop the girl dolls like a hat and just start manufacturing boy dolls like crazy. There's a reason why there are so many girl dolls and not many boy dolls. And it has nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing, but it's not because of the men, and it's not because of perverted men. The women buy girl dolls too. So when you have women buying girl dolls and men buying girl dolls, but then very few women buying boy dolls and almost next to none male collectors buying boy dolls, then you're not going to get many sales. And I know I'm not equally giving each side its fair share. I understand that because I didn't research actual numbers. I don't have actual numbers and percentages to back up anything I'm saying. So please take what I'm saying as a grain of salt. It's more so I'm just speaking from experience, from what I've seen, and I feel like it does make sense. Like if there is money to be had, the companies will go there. I guarantee you, if they knew that boys would make them more money than girl dolls, they would 100% run to the boy market and make boy dolls. And people gauge that. Like when other companies make boy dolls, then for damn sure that the company that's not making boy dolls is watching those sales. They're watching to see how well that company is selling boys. And if that company is selling boys like hotcakes, then other companies will start picking up boys and start making boys and selling boys. But I think, the companies that take that risk in making boy dolls don't get that many sales. So a lot of people just don't risk it. They don't risk it. But I don't know. I definitely need a pad for this chair for sure. But yeah, that's my soapbox for that. That's my soapbox for boy dolls. I don't know what else to say about the boy dolls. I know I've said it multiple times in this episode, and I really feel about like a broken record. I feel like it's just the biggest thing that's hurting the boy doll market is the money. The companies are not making enough money for boy dolls. I think that's the biggest hurt. And then I think the second biggest hurt for boy dolls is that the community that wants boy dolls, I don't think the choices that are available currently is not what the general consensus is looking for, and hence why the boy doll sales aren't doing as well either, because it's not the character they're looking for. I mean, it's the same thing with me. There's a lot of girl characters out there, and I only buy the ones that I like. So I'm not buying the dolls that I don't like. So same thing with boys. Just because a boy character's release and it's like, oh my god, it's the one boy, I have to buy it. No. If it's a boy doll, it doesn't matter. If it's an ugly boy doll and it doesn't suit your likings, you're not gonna buy it. So I feel like that also hurts the boy doll problem. Is one, the money is not there, and two, the aesthetic that people are looking for apparently has not hit the mark yet. Maybe if they can make a boy doll sculpt that is like a chameleon, like it can be changed, like a Mirai, because Mirai Suenaga for Smart Doll, that head sculpt spawned so many characters. So many characters. So if you can find a boy head that can do the same thing, where you can take one head sculpt and turn it into 50 to 100 different characters, that head sculpt will sell like hotcakes. Because then you could market it to anybody's aesthetic preferences. Like it could look like this or it could look like that, depending on how the face up goes. And I don't know if the current boy doll sculpts can fill that niche, so to speak. Because I feel like if it did, then, they'd be making more of them. But again, I have no numbers to back this up. I have no statements from either companies to back this up. This is just me talking from what I've seen happening within the community. Magical Kitsa says, it isn't any better as an owner. Reputation of business, docs culture, upset employees, always the bad guy, never the hero. I feel like that's how Danny feels. I feel like that's why sometimes you get like these weird, like angry, like rants from Danny, is because he gets so much from people that like it's hurting his head kind of thing. Like all these complaints, all these criticisms just going directly to them. And that's one of the negative sides of being a business owner too, right? Because you have to make a decision. Do I run the company the way I want to run it and face all the negative backlash that may happen? Or do I run my company and pander to every single person's requests, which is also a losing battle because you can never pander to everyone's request. That's like trying to make everyone in the world like you. It's impossible to make everyone in the world like you. Like there's gonna be somebody, if not that one person out of the billions of people that just will not like you. Like you just can't make everyone like you. So it's a losing battle that way too. So you got to find the balance that works for you. If I'm saying that right, Kat, like you got to find the balance that works for you where you get to run your company the way you want, but still also listen to your customers and, kind of help them with their needs. You got to find some kind of balance there. And I think that's what a lot of small business owners probably deal with on a daily basis is finding that balance, Kat says, are there good parts? Yes, we are only in year 4, so the scale hasn't balanced out yet. Oh, you're still in the hard parts, right, Kat? Like, you haven't gotten over that hump, which, hopefully you'll get there. Hopefully you'll get there soon. But I've been seeing good things out of your company, Kat. I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen those ads. I've seen the ads. I've seen that, Ben. I've seen that video that you recently posted. Your ad. This is a good ad. It's a good ad. You guys are doing a lot for the community. I see the posts where you're doing these charity events. You're doing like the helping out the communities and stuff. Like I think it, at least from here all the way here in New Jersey, it looks like you guys are doing fantastic. But obviously I don't know the inner workings of your company, how things are going. But at least the message out there, it looks positive. From an outsider's point of view, it looks like things are going good. Christina Kowal says, I think there was a place in the USA in waitress dresses a waitress dresses and you can get a hard whack from a bat. My friend went there and he said he told her, give me a hard whack, and he had a bruise for weeks. I don't know what place this is. I haven't heard of that one. I definitely haven't heard of that one, but I did see a video once on YouTube because I watch a lot of like Trash Taste and I follow the different boys from Trash Taste. And I think Connor or Dog VA did a video where he went to, I think it's like a muscle mommy gym where it's like the bartenders were all muscle women and like you're supposed to do pull-ups and they compete with you. And then there's like a thing where like they like slap you, like you pay them money to slap you or something like that. Like it sounds. You should watch the video. It's so hysterical. It's so funny. Like how many times he gets beat up in this one in this one bar by all the muscle women that are there. It's pretty funny. But no, I haven't heard of that one. The restaurant where the waitress hits you with a bat. That's crazy. But it would be interesting to see. I don't think I personally would go there because I don't want to get hit with a bat. But I definitely would like to try out that one restaurant where they just yell at you. I definitely would try that one out just because it's different. Like, I just want to see what it's like. They probably have a clause somewhere in there where you have to sign relief forms where it says you're not allowed to hit the employees because I'm sure they must have said something that made people so mad that the customers just beat up employees. So there's probably like some kind of like waiver you have to sign before you go into the restaurant. Hello, Somi. Welcome, Somi, to the stream. Hi, everyone. How's it going? I'm late, but better late than never. Hey, welcome, Somi. Welcome to the stream. Let me see. Magical Girl Kit Kat gives me a heart. She says, yes. We watched this after D&D one night. Which one? The Muscle Mommy one? That video with the Muscle Mommy bar? Did you watch that after one D&D night? Because that's so funny. Which, by the way, Kat, I don't know if I told you, I started playing D&D. I'm so happy. I finally found a group. I've been looking for years. And it's not even a group. I found a store. It was like a store that was hosting their own beginners D&D night. And because I've never done it before and I'm a beginner, I signed up. And now I go every Saturday night. That is my D&D night where I get to play out my D&D fantasies. So it's like my character is a ranger. So I'm bow and arrows. I shoot arrows. And I am a tabaxi cat that loves to eat fish. And my D&D group hates me because I I make it that between every mission or every like excursion, like I make my character go in the kitchen and make awful fish dishes. Where like 2 weeks ago, I made my character make candied fish sticks, kind of like candy apples. And I gave it to my adventuring party, which the DM had to make them roll. And all of them rolled really badly and all of them got sick. All of them got so sick where they like half of the party couldn't fight the next battle and we almost died because they all got sick from my candied fish sticks. It was really bad. It was really bad, but it was really funny. But yeah, I was having a grand old time. So like I'm enjoying my D&D lifestyle. So I don't know what I'm gonna cook for my group tomorrow in D&D, but I'm gonna think of something gross that's fish related to see if I could poison my party. Most of them won't eat it anymore. One of my D&D partners took one of the candied fish sticks and then fed it. They used their action to shove the candied fish stick into the enemy's mouth, and then the enemy got sick. And then we got to roll an advantage on attacks against the enemy by using my candied fish stick. It was funny. It was really funny. We had we I'm having a lot of fun with it. But yeah. So yeah, you watch the Muscle Mommy one. It's great. That video is great. If no one has ever seen this, type in Sea Dog VA Muscle Girl Bar. I think that's what it's called. And watch that video. It is hilarious. It is so funny. These girls beating up these guys at the bar. It's a good watch. It's a good watch. We need to do a video chat one of these nights and get caught up. Yeah, sure. Just send me a message. We could do a chat night. Invite the whole gang and just have a chat night. Your character sounds most precious. I would protect you. Most of my team is trying to throw me under the bus because they think I'm trying to kill them with my cooking. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. But anyways, that wraps up today's episode. I don't have a Shizu-san's anime corner for today's episode. It's the first time in like ever, I think, in Beyond the Doll history that I don't have any anime recommendations. Simply because there is this season of anime. I had so many things I wanted to watch, and when I started watching them, they weren't as good as I thought they would be. So it's like I started watching a few shows, and I'm like, this is not that great. No, I don't like this one. And the ones that I did like, I already mentioned in prior episodes of Beyond the Doll. So that's kind of like the reason why there's no anime corner, is because I don't have any shows from this season I really enjoy. I mean, unless you guys want to recommend a show that for me to watch that I haven't tried yet, I can add it to my list and see if I like it or not. But I have no anime corner for you guys this week. Sorry. maybe next week I'll have something for you guys. But for this week I don't really have anything this week. So that really ends up my episode. So again, thanks everybody for coming. So we talked about tariffs. The long end and short of it is just prepare. Just prepare for the de minimis tax exemption to go away. Just in case. I mean, it may never go away, but just in case that goes away and everybody has to pay all these tariffs on every product, let's just say prepare for that. And, again, the way things are changing in today's economy, the tariffs going up or down or paused or, rescinded or executed or whatever it may be. Because right now, a lot of things are just changing. There's nothing really set in stone per se, because every time we think something's set in stone, it changes again. So I would just say prepare for the worst and just hope for the best. And when it comes to boy dolls, I hear you guys. Like, even though it's not something I'm super passionate about, I get it. If you guys want more boy dolls, I understand that you're crying for more boy dolls and you want more boy dolls. I get it. It's the same thing with me wanting more car manufacturers to make manual transmission cars. I want every car to be offered in a manual transmission, but they won't do it. But, because everybody wants automatics. I feel like it's the same with the boys. I feel your pain. I know you guys want it, but unfortunately, I just feel like these companies are going where the money is. And because the boys don't sell as much, then companies are not taking that risk. And because the companies are not taking that risk, a lot of the small businesses are not taking that risk in making boy products. Because again, they have to buy the materials, they have to make the things, which cost time and money, and then for that object to not sell as well as their other products, then why even do it? Just stick to making the products that keep selling, right? Especially if it's your livelihood on the line, so I feel you. It's a tough road for you guys that want boy dolls. It's a very tough road, and I hope it gets better for you. I honest to God, I hope it gets better for all the boy doll enthusiasts out there, because I just wish you the best. Like, if we're allowed to have our female dolls, you guys should be allowed to have your male dolls. But unfortunately, the companies go where the money is. And right now, the boys are not raking in the money that companies seem to want to opt into. And that's a very unfortunate thing. And we can only hope that, since Smart Doll, at the very least, is all about diversity and inclusivity, since boys don't get as much representation, we can only hope that Danny Chu and Smart Doll Company will see this and want to make more boys to fill that void. Because Danny has said many times he will keep making the plus girls or the pair girls. He will keep making the medical stuff and the prosthetics and the girls with the vitiligo and stuff, regardless of how they sell, because it's important to him that there's inclusivity, diversity, and I feel like boys fit that niche. They're underrepresented. People want them, and that's why I think we have the new boy doll that just got released. And I'm hoping that he will stay, and I'm hoping that maybe he'll come up with other versions of it or other sculpts in the future, so that people that want their boy dolls will have a place that they can go to get their boy doll fix. But as it's, boy dolls are very underrepresented, and until money starts flowing in the boys' direction, unfortunately, it's going to be a hard sell and a hard buy for a lot of you. And my heart goes out to you. It really does, because it should be fair, and you should get as many boys as we do girls. We really do. But money talks. And until the money starts flowing in the boys' direction, I know I said that already, but I just feel like it's true. It's going to be a hard sell for a lot of these boys going forward. But I do. I think that that's where we are in the state of the whole boydom, for the doll boydom, and maybe it'll get better. I really hope. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you everybody for coming for today's episode of Beyond the Doll. This is episode 51. We are getting up there in numbers. As always, I'm your host, Shizu-san, and my lovely assistant with me today is the very lovely Asuna Yuki from SAO. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you, Havlin, for the wonderful donations to today's stream. Really appreciate it. And thank you everybody for coming. Thank you everybody for watching this on the VODs. I really appreciate each and every one of you. You're the reasons why I do this, not only because I just like doing it, but being able to converse with you every other Friday and talk with you guys and share my opinions and thoughts, and you guys share your opinions and thoughts is so much fun. So much fun. I really enjoy it. And for those of you that watch on the VODs, I read all the comments. I haven't been very good, I will admit, at responding to every comment because I've just been so busy with a lot of stuff, and I know it just sounds like a bunch of excuses over and over, but it's just true. It's just life is just getting really hard for me right now at work. And, the kids are getting older and they just need more of my time, mine and my wife's time. So it's been rough, but I will try to get to everyone's comments as quickly as I can. So thanks everybody for coming, and I will see you guys in the next one. Remember, there's no episode next week because we do it every other Friday. If you want to really remember how it goes, I think the easiest way to remember it is it's the first week and the third week of the month is when I'll stream on a Friday. First week will be the news with the Doll Symposium. The third week will be Beyond the Doll. So thanks everybody for coming. I'll see you guys later in the next one. And what happened to my songs? Just stopped playing for some reason. Because it was supposed to play in the background. Remember that? I was playing it in the background. It just kind of stopped midway through. But thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.